Hey, yo, welcome to the show. My nipples are hard right now. That was a banger. And you're muted.
Oh, so that was a good one.
Yeah. Well, I'm Harry. This is Tyson.
Let me talk to you.
And this is the show. How was your week?
Pretty good week.
Yeah?
I think things are going well for me.
How so?
Just figuring out life, that's all. It's always a good thing, of course.
Yeah, you got it all figured it out?
Not all, but I'm starting to figure it out.
Okay, that's
And
good.
that's where you want to be.
Yeah. Well, you said you had a story.
I did. So, if you don't know, if you're new here, I do door dashing during the daytime is my full time thing. And today I go to this food truck to pick up some food, and across the street there's this guy. He's bald, he's got like tattoos all over him, tank top, and it's just a weird looking guy. It's one of those guys you're like, oh, I don't want to get caught in a dark alley with that guy. All of a sudden he just starts walking towards me from across the street, by the way. And he starts walking towards me, and I just start walking, the other way. So I was like, I don't know what he because he's looking right at me. I was like, I don't know what's
Was he
he's
power walking?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm just gonna walk the other way. I start walking the other way, and he walks the other way too. And I just keep walking, and he keeps walking, and he's closing in on me. And then he gets like right up behind me, and I turn around, and he's like got this death stare on me. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then he didn't say anything. And then he turned around and walked the other way.
So he walked up to you and then turned around and walked away?
Yeah. When I turned around, it's like, remember Mario, uh, like Super Mario, the ghost?
Yeah.
And you turn around and then they stop moving.
They go invisible.
Yeah, it was like that. Like I turned around, like, what are you doing? Don't make me. You don't want to know Tyson that way. But yeah, he legit turned around and walked the other way once I saw him.
Do you have like
And then I
face
was thinking,
tattoos and shit?
yeah, and I was thinking, if I didn't turn around, what was he gonna do?
What was he gonna do?
I don't know. That's the thing.
Did you have like a bag of food or something with you?
I had nothing.
Oh,
But I was like, if I did not turn around,
I mean, it would have been
like,
your
was he
ass.
gonna grab me?
He was gonna booty fuck you, right
Or
there, right in the
yeah,
street.
try it. Like I was gonna have to lay at the smack down on his candy ass. Is what was gonna happen. Hit him with one rock bottom, two rock bottom. Yeah, it was the craziest thing.
Well, I recently had a DoorDash order where we got some cooking oil, right? Because we're lazy, so let other people do our grocery shopping for us. So this old geriatric motherfucker is banging on the door, and we're just like, leave it there, like the instructions say. So then the guy's like, oh, I need help. They're really heavy. So I'm like, all right, I get it. He's old. So I go out there, and the second I go out there, he goes, oh, it's too heavy for me. He lifts up his pant leg, and it's a piss bag.
Oh,
He doesn't say my name is Clarence. He doesn't say hi, how you doing. He just lifts up his leg and reveals his piss bag. Now I was not like disagreeable to helping him at all. Like I was help friendly. Like I wasn't annoyed. So there's no reason for him to reveal this piss bag, but he did, and it was a
is that what he
traumatic.
needed help with?
He needed help. Well, he needed help. He wanted me to lift the heavy shit because he has a piss bag attached to his leg. Apparently, when you got one
Golly,
of those, you can't lift heavy stuff. How he got it to his car, I don't know. That's a mystery for another day.
golly, that's. craziness. It's hard times out there.
Well, I don't
Buddy.
understand why this old man with a piss bag attached to his leg is delivering these heavy ass buckets of oil.
Because it's hard times. You gotta, people's got to make that money.
All right. Well, I don't know what she tipped him, but yeah, couldn't have been worth it. Anyway, let's talk about some wrestling.
Let's get into some wrestling.
So we start off with Monday Night Raw. We're in Savannah, Georgia. And it starts off with the King of the Ring recap, of course, and I skipped all of it because I already watched the pay-per-view. And our walkers tonight are Useless Liv Morgan and Seth's husband. Useless Liv is keeping Ripley's belt warm, and Seth's husband is trying to have a mean face on her, but she sucks, so she's not convincing at all. And they reveal that they're having a steel cage match to run back their King of the Ring matchup. And I'm not going to watch it, so there you go.
There you go.
And we cut to Kaiser in the ring, and he does an epic introduction. And I like that he's wearing the suit because I did think it was kind of weird that a nearly naked man was introducing Gunther. But now that he's wearing the suit, it's a little bit more, or a little less homoerotic, I guess.
It's a special occasion.
Right. And as I say that, Gunther comes out, they hug, and Gunther gets booed, and we get the "We Want Randy" chants. And Gunther says, "On Saturday, I beat Randy Orton. At SummerSlam, I get to challenge the World Heavyweight title, which brings me to Priest. And I respect what Priest has done. The woman stepped away, and he decided to take charge and found success as a result. I, too, have a man who succeeds when he takes charge. Just like how I had to bring prestige to the Intercontinental title and become the greatest Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion of all time. And I had to elevate the King of the Ring tournament to heights it's never seen before because it was lacking prestige. Just like the World Heavyweight title is currently lacking prestige because the champion won it like a coward." So mixed signals there from Gunther, but he's still awesome. Because he's like, he kind of starts off with, "I respect Priest. He's done a good job, but he's a coward."
Yeah.
So Priest comes out naturally, and he comes out with Balor and McTurd. I guess he's okay with them being in his business this week because hasn't he been like, "Just stay out of my business"?
He's kind of all over the place, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Like, I believe in this very segment, he played both a heel and a face.
Okay. So Priest gets in the ring, and he and Gunther shed their goons so they can talk man to man. Priest says, "Yeah, Gunther, you're the king of the ring, but we all saw the match, and you really should be patting yourself on the back for taking Randy Orton's title opportunity. And you're right, I won the title by cashing in a briefcase that I earned in a ladder match. Like, are you new here? Do you not know how the business works?" Then the stupid son of a bitch says he can teach Gunther. Gunther naturally laughs at Priest, says, "Regardless of what you think and how you feel, I am the king of the ring, and I'm coming for that title. And maybe you can teach me something, because I've been waiting for someone to teach me something since I've gotten here. And you might be able to teach me about business, but I'll learn you on this great sport that I love with everything that I have. So give me your stupid business lecture now and call me king, or you can give it to me later and call me World Heavyweight Champion." And Priest starts to talk about how he and Gunther are going to go to war at SummerSlam, and McIntyre's music plays. Now, before we get to McIntyre, I thought the little exchange between Gunther and Priest was nice.
Yeah, I liked it.
Is this where do you think Priest was the heel here or the face?
See, he was a face here.
Okay.
Because, "Oh, you didn't even beat Randy Orton." That's a face thing to say. But I don't know. It got me a little excited for their potential meetup.
Right, yeah. I'm more excited about this than I am with, well, that's obvious because we've seen it too, but I'm more excited for this than Gunther and McIntyre. if that's the route they go.
I think I got it. I got it figured out.
I think I don't know if I have it figured out, but I have a theory.
Yeah, I think they got a way to settle all of this.
Okay. So McIntyre's music plays. He hits the ring, and he has a nice little stare down with Gunther. And CM Punk chants start right away. Gunther says, "Hey, let me take care of this, or they won't shut up." And he says, "For 6 months, Punk's been back, and I've been the highlight since or I've been his entire highlight. If I didn't injure Punk, Punk would have been fired, and he would end up in a soup line or something because he would have had nowhere else to go." And McIntyre reminds everyone that he's the number one contender and soon to be heavyweight champion. Gunther starts laughing, says, "I'll see whoever's left standing at SummerSlam." And he goes and gets some Wiener Schnitzel or something. And McIntyre goes on to say how he's going to be champion at Scotland and how awesome Scotland is and how crazy everyone's going to be and just how it's just going to eat Priest up. Priest says, "Is that it?" And he asks if McIntyre's wife's going to be there. And McIntyre immediately gets pissed. And Priest says, "I don't care if she's going to be there or not. I just wanted to see if I can get under your skin. Clearly I can. And I also wanted to see if you're man enough to do something." And fucking Braun Strowman's music plays.
Bro!
And I thought, funny thing, I thought it was Braun Breaker. I'm like, what? Why did they get rid of the sirens?
No, not
Yeah.
yet.
I just saw the Braun. Anyway, McIntyre flees. Strowman needs to do something with his hair because of his bald spot. Looks ridiculous. That all looks ridiculous. It looks like a big helmet. So Strowman beat up McTurd. Oh, he beat McTurd because they had a match. And just like I said he would. So Priest sets this match up. He thinks McTurd's going to teach Braun a lesson. And Strowman beat McTurd. And unfortunately, McTurd got offense.
He sure did.
So Balor and Carlito tried to help, but they got their asses whooped. And then they all tried to jump Strowman after the match. Then they get their asses kicked again. And then Strowman chases McTurd.
Yeah, McDouble hits Strowman in the back with a chair.
Oh, yeah.
And he
no-sold it.
He jets out of the ring and runs and then kind of sets up for the rest of the night.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But yeah, so that segment, we got Priest and McIntyre. Oh, I'm sorry. So it starts with Priest and Gunther face off, tease. Priest and McIntyre tease. McIntyre and Gunther tease. Braun Strowman and Priest tease.
Yeah.
So teasing a lot of stuff there.
I think they can get rid of McIntyre. Now, I love McIntyre. Don't get me wrong, but I'm more interested in seeing what he does with Punk. I don't want to see him wrestle anybody else right now.
And that's in lies where I think they're going. So I think what's going to happen. Okay, because SummerSlam is in August. And I think the Money in the Bank is in July. So we got Clash at the Castle, Money in the Bank, and then SummerSlam. So I think, perhaps, maybe they're setting up Priest versus McIntyre first. McIntyre is actually going to lose because of CM Punk's interference. That's going to set up their feud, take him out of the title match.
Well, and then Punk pretty much said it too. He's going to hide in a bowl of haggis.
Yeah, he did say that. So he pretty much told us. So he's going to cost McIntyre the title. That's going to further their feud. And it gets, McIntyre out of the title picture for now. So Priest retains through Clash at the Castle. Then he's going to go to Money in the Bank. And that's where we're going to get the Braun Strowman match. And then he's going to go to SummerSlam and give the title to Gunther.
You better.
That's, I think that's their.
If Priest beats Gunther, if the bisexual Undertaker beats the greatest wrestler on the planet, wrestling's fake.
Well, it will be. I don't know. I did have a thought when they were doing their face off. I was like, I mean, what if he did beat Gunther? Like, there's an outside chance.
There is. They're high on Priest. It just doesn't make sense because it's Gunther and he's Priest.
True, but I felt more and more he's getting presented better and better. Priest, that is.
How so?
Uh, well, I don't want to skip forward, but later on he's going to be the equalizer.
When they take out Rey Mysterio?
Yes.
So he
So he
takes out
takes
Rey
out.
he takes out Rey Mysterio and a bunch of other tiny Mexicans.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's the equalizer.
He's also stay out of my business. Oh, come out with me tonight, guys. I hate you, Rhea. Oh no, we're one, Rhea. Fuck you, Finn. No, we're a team, Finn. He's fucking bipolar.
Yeah, that's one thing. He is playing face and heel. So that's what I'm saying. He was both a face and a heel for this event. So
I don't know.
weird there, but
I guess I have to disagree. I don't think he's been I think his entrance is better. I think that's the only thing that's made him more important. But I think as far as the whole presentation of Damian Priest, he's been an inconsistent little cunt.
whoa. Okay. Has he lost?
No, of course not.
There you go.
But he didn't lose a whole bunch before. Balor was losing.
He's also, I don't know. I guess to be fair, he hasn't had too many one-on-one matches, or if any.
He's had one-on-one matches, but not. He's definitely been more of a tag guy the past year with Balor, and they've had the tag belts forever.
Yeah.
And what before that, I don't even know. They were with Edge
For a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not opposed to Damian Priest. It's just he says one thing from one side of his mouth and then he says the opposite from the other side of his mouth, and it's just hard to wrap my head around. And he thinks he can teach Gunther anything.
Well, Gunther said he doesn't know anything about business, but what he does know is wrestling.
Well, he said he's not a businessman.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, perhaps you can teach me about the business."
I'm not a businessman, but I'll school you. I'll stretch your ass, you little Puerto Rican fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's where they're going with it all. And by SummerSlam, Gunther will be raising the title.
Mm.
Now, how long he lasts
should be. Oh man, how long was Roman?
4 years.
4 years.
It ain't gonna happen.
Gunther's 3 times the wrestler Roman is. So I mean, it'd have to be like at least 16 years.
There you go.
That would kill the business. I don't know if you could do that ever.
Yeah, fickle fans will get tired of it.
Yeah. All right, so Useless Liv said some shit that I skipped.
Basically, she said she was gonna win the cage match tonight.
Then they replayed Braun Breaker killing the Jobber and Ricochet last week. And they cut to Ricochet, who's with Pierce, and the medical dude says Ricochet can go tonight. Ricochet says he wants Braun. Pierce says that's out of the question because he's been fined and he's been suspended. He's got to pay for his actions. Dragunov comes in to make overdramatic faces and thank Ricochet for saving him from Breaker last week. And as a show of gratitude, Dragunov suggests that they fight again. Ricochet says, well, how about tonight? Dragunov makes more overdramatic faces and says he fights men and breaks them, but he don't fight broken people. And Ricochet calls Dragunov homie, and that was all I could stand.
Homie, I ain't never been broken.
Yeah.
Sure. Tell that to Brock Lesnar.
Right. So Ricochet versus Dragunov. And they had a match. It was way too long. Sometimes Ricochet would sell his wrists or his ribs that for some reason had a shit ton of tape on them. And Dragunov made faces. Crowd was really behind Ricochet until Breaker came out of nowhere and destroyed both of them. Then the crowd was barking. It's really interesting because they, for one, the stupid Savannah, Georgia crowd was just all over Ricochet. They really wanted him to win. But then as soon as Breaker hit the ring, it's like, Ricochet who?
Well, I mean, we're Braun Breaker fans as the crowd.
Pierce comes out to yell at Breaker all the way to the back. Breaker stops to glare at Pierce. And then he just continues to move along. And then they go to a commercial break. Then they cut back from the commercial break. Pierce is yelling at Breaker. Some bitch comes out of nowhere and asks Pierce if he needs anything. Pierce says he needs a drink and some sucky. So they go do what they have to do. Who is this bitch?
It's Kiana James. She's appeared on TV.
Yeah, she keeps saying, like, do you need anything? And he's like, no, I don't need anything. Go away. And she's like, okay.
Yeah, I think they're going for, like, the Sonya Deville, who was not even on TV this week, I don't think.
Anyway, yeah, she was.
Did I miss it?
Okay. Probably. I mean, yeah, she talked to the Stark and
Gracie. Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't write it down, but yes.
Yeah, there's nothing to write down. That was it.
I think they're going for that, where she was like the helper and then kind of like interim GM or like co-GM. I think they're going for that. Like her character is going to be like a helper for Pierce, and then that's how you introduce her into the ring. I guess she's going to start throwing around her power. Like she's going to, just my guess, she's eventually going to work her way in or get pounded her way in, initiated. And then Pierce is going to make her like the GM for the women's division or something. And then she's going to insert her power, and then that'll be her way to be introduced to the crowd, I guess.
Well, Miz and R-Truth had a segment. New Day were there too. So was Cross. And Cross wants Xavier Woods to ditch Kofi and join his club or something.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. So Truth has an ice cream truck for some reason. And him and the Miz are hanging out at the ice cream truck, and he was like,
for some reason.
Yeah. Miz is like, well, why am I wearing all white? And he said, because you got to represent your flavor. You vanilla. And then he said, does that make you? And Truth says, strawberry. What were you going to say? And that was the underlining joke. And then New Day was there for some reason. So ridiculous. New Day was there for some reason at this ice cream truck that Truth for some reason has. And they're like, yeah, Miz, what were you gonna say? And then Cross is there for some reason.
Yeah, out of all this, Cross was able to find them all.
Yes. he's just like, oh yeah, they're hanging out. Like, how does he know they're at that ice cream shop?
Who the fuck knows?
But yeah, the whole thing is he's trying to turn the New Day against each other. I don't
Well,
know if
no,
he's
he wants Xavier Woods to ditch Kofi because he thinks he can help Xavier Woods.
yeah, but the first week he was in Kofi's ear. So
Yeah, he said. I thought he said something about being out of time or some shit. Who the fuck knows?
there's always
I don't
more
care.
time.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever
and then out of all
happens,
this,
wherever we get to, I assure you, it's not going to be worth it.
I just hope we don't just get endless AOP versus New Day matches.
No, we will.
Like, and that's where we're going. It's just infinite matches between those two groups, like the LWO versus Legato.
No, no.
just like for the rest of the year, they're just feuding with each other.
No more. They all look the same now because of those fuckers.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. Oh, we'll see where it goes.
All right. So the Inbreed brothers lost to the Authors of Pain. So the Authors of Pain are badasses now, and the Inbreed brothers are just geeks. Remember when they were something special?
Don't worry, their time's coming.
Mm.
I thought it was happening tonight too, but it didn't.
Okay. Well, then they replay a segment where Rey Mysterio's goon got hurt, and then Rey does a promo where he's to say he's replaying the feud he had with Escobar, only with Carlito.
And the audacity of Rey Mysterio. Oh, Carlito, he was jealous of Dragon Lee. Like, how dare you say that he was jealous? You did this to Escobar, you did this to Dom. Like, you're the problem, Ray, not Carlito. You are the problem.
You keep
Just
picking
like,
Dragon Lee over these established people.
yes.
And what has Dragon Lee done? Has Dragon Lee even wrestled?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had those few matches.
Has he won?
No.
Okay.
Or maybe I don't know. I mean, yes, he's a great wrestler and all, but
Is he?
I'm just saying you just like you had Escobar first, and then you just bring in Dragon Lee. Oh, this is and you're saying right in front of him, oh yeah, this is the future of luchador right here.
And didn't he
Not
pick him
you.
over Escobar for some match?
No.
Oh.
Wait, maybe he did.
I feel like they're doing the exact same thing. The exact same thing. They even to the TV blow off.
Maybe. In their eyes, if it isn't broke, don't fix it.
All right. Well,
This
Sheamus
is
is
such a
walking.
rating draw.
Yeah. Well, Sheamus is walking, and Strowman's chasing McTurd, and he's talking to useless Liv Morgan. And Strowman's power walking like he has to take a shit. And he's selling a leg injury, but it's just he looks like he has to take a shit.
Selling a leg injury from the match earlier.
Yeah,
From
McTurd hurt Braun Strowman. Let that sink in.
Yep, McFlurries with M&Ms.
Yep. And Sheamus gives a face to indicate that he really hopes that Strowman makes it to the bathroom on time. And then Sheamus goes out to the ring, talks about King of the Ring. He did his banger shit, so I skipped to the point. And he's upset that Kaiser cost him the King of the Ring. And he's really pissed that Kaiser's been talking shit about him since he's been out. Sheamus starts to call out Kaiser, but Kaiser appears via Titantron. I love that they brought that back. And Kaiser says he needs to blame Gunther for his loss, who is his king, which means Sheamus would have lost anyway. Kaiser says that he doesn't operate under Sheamus' time, so Sheamus goes to the back to find Kaiser. Kaiser ambushes him. They have a pull-apart brawl.
Yep.
And if this
I like
was,
that they're setting up like a minor feud here.
well, if this was the same time last year, Kaiser would have just got his ass whooped.
That's true.
Kaiser, I think the important thing is Kaiser stood toe to toe with Sheamus. He didn't just get annihilated.
That's true. Wait until the bell rings, though. It's going to be a different story.
True. Ugly NXT chick and Seth's ugly husband had a moment in the locker room. Of course, I didn't watch 1 second of it.
Kind of a cryptic thing from Becky. She's talking to Lyra Valkyria, is the ugly NXT chick, as you say, and she says, "Yeah, we didn't win at King and Queen of the Ring, but sometimes you win and sometimes you learn, and then you keep winning and you keep learning until it's time to walk away." And she's like staring off in the distance, and then she looks at Lyra. She says something else. I didn't make out what she said, and then walks off. But that's the cryptic, because of the whole contract thing.
So the ugly NXT chick beat Carly Sane. The ugly NXT chick allegedly had injured ribs that she barely sold, but she's a woman, so it's stunning and brave that she's devaluing a once great pastime. And I bet Kari's back, or glad she's back in the WWE now that she's just there. Later, Kari and Kai find Io in a room. Io proceeds to throw and break furniture while screaming in Japanese. That was fucking awesome. I would rather watch if they condensed all of the women's shit to just Io Sky throwing shit and breaking shit and just screaming in Japanese. I would find more value in that.
There you go. And if they can if they could just start making these women do thirst traps, I would find more value in that. Kyrie does have new music though, so there's that.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch or listen.
You probably know how to. It's not as good.
Okay.
Or maybe, yeah, it's not as good. And then I guess also to note here, apparently Asuka's injured, so that's why she wasn't in this segment.
She's been injured for weeks.
Okay.
I think we talked about it, didn't we?
I don't think so.
I thought we did. Either way, it doesn't matter. Priest is backstage with Carlito, Balor, and McTurd. Priest doesn't like Carlito this week, and he starts to mention Dominic. Dominic slides in. Priest wants to know what the fuck happened to Dominic. Or he wants to know what the fuck happened at King of the Ring. Dominic said he was just trying to help Rhea understand, or he was just trying to help, and Rhea understands that. Priest says he better fix his mistake tonight. And I'm not sure why it matters who the fucking champion is when Rhea's going to be out for blood when she comes back. Like, how is Rhea more upset that Useless Liv is champion over Becky's husband and vice versa?
Because she doesn't want Liv Morgan to have anything.
Okay, but
the fact that Dom pretty much handed her the title makes it worse.
But if Rhea's gone, so she can't do anything about it either way. But when she comes back, she can just rip her head off.
I don't know. It's a woman thing.
Okay. Mysterio beat Carlito. There was a brawl after, and I don't give a shit about anyone involved. Oh, this is where Priest razor's edged Mysterio.
Yeah, Priest turned out to be the equalizer, and he razor's edge both Dragon Lee and Mysterio. So there you go.
Oh, there you go. Chad Gable's backstage with Tozawa, and he's pissed at Tozawa for not being in Saudi. Gable says all he could think about was Tozawa, and then he lost the match. But he's not mad. He's just disappointed, even though he's fuming. That was great. Like, all I could think about was you, Tozawa, and then I lost. So thanks.
Yeah.
Strowman's still hunting for McTurd. Like, fuck this guy. Otis and No Talent Dupree slide in. Gable tells No Talent to keep her 3 brain cells in the back while Otis redeems himself against Reed. Gable makes Otis say no matter what. Then Gable sniffs Otis again.
Yeah, his nickname for Maxine this week was Goldilocks and her 3 brain cells.
Yeah.
And again, no crowd reaction when he does stuff about Maxine.
Because it's true.
But when he does stuff to Otis, there's crowd reaction. It's like, Maxine, you stupid idiot. Yeah, yeah. You can't wrestle. Yeah, yeah. Otis, boo.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
So Reed versus Otis. And as I was skipping this match, I came across Otis crossbodying Reed. And when they fell, Otis actually bounced off. Like they're Otis goes full speed into Reed, and their bellies collide. And as they land, their bellies are touching, and they bounce off of each other. And Reed just immediately grabs his stomach. And it was the most fascinating thing. It was like 2 blobs just colliding.
Meat madness. It was famed, but the crowd did do a meat chant. You gotta love those.
I guess.
Meat, meat, meat.
Well, Otis lost via tsunami because the stupid fuck couldn't resist doing the goddamn worm. After the match, Otis is leaving. Gable grabs a mic. He gets in the ring. He tells Otis to get his ass back in there. Then he calls in the Alpha Academy. He says they're going to have a meeting. So out comes Tozawa and No Talent Dupree. Gable tells Otis that he cost him his IC title at Saudi and now failed to redeem himself against Reed tonight. Gable says Otis lacks discipline. So tonight, he's going to show Otis discipline in front of everybody. Gable says he doesn't want to do this. Then he takes off his belt. You made me do this. Now grab the rope. And then Otis grabs the rope like a cuck. And Gable turns to Tozawa and No Talent Dupree. He says, stand there and watch. Now this is what happens when you bring shame to the Alpha Academy. Gable approaches Otis and TV whispers into his ear that this is going to hurt Gable more than it's going to hurt Otis. Now, anybody who's grown up in our era has heard that a lot.
Yep, that was the beauty of it. I'm sorry, Otis. This is going to hurt you more than it hurts me. I doubt that.
Right.
And then he didn't say this, but there's also you better stop crying before I give you something to cry about.
You probably would have used that if...
Like, you just gave me something. That's the reason.
What the fuck did you just do?
Yeah.
Gable then puts on a mask of rage, then goes to take a swing. Then No Talent Dupree steps in and grabs Gable's arm. Gable sends her no talented ass back to the back and tries again. Then Sammy's music plays. Sammy comes in, says some shit. Sammy and Gable get into a fight. Otis breaks it up. Gable attacks Zane. Then when he's not looking and beats the shit out of him while Otis looks conflicted. It was really awesome until Sammy came out.
Yeah, it was a great segment. That's what I was saying. I thought this was going to be the moment where he has his new Alpha Academy, because this Alpha Academy is a bunch of losers.
Yeah.
But I guess we're still holding off on that. Maybe it'll happen when whenever this Sammy versus Chad match happens 1-on-1.
Well, they're kind of doing the same thing with Otis and Sammy that Jay and Sammy did. You gotta get away from Otis. You're better than that. Get away from them. Yeah.
Oh, that's what he said. I know. I've been there before, so I know what you're going through. Now, I do have a question. Is all of this getting to an Otis Intercontinental title win? This whole big story.
Dude.
Chad Gable treating Otis like he's treating him. Otis is going to turn. The Creed brothers are going to join Gable. And then, so yeah, the way I see it is Otis, he's going to stand up to Chad Gable. The Creed brothers is going to then attack Otis. All this will end up with Chad Gable winning the title from Sami Zayn because of the Otis turning and then the Creed brothers helping Chad Gable. So he still gets out on top. So now he's the champion. But now we have a story of Otis standing up to Chad Gable or overcoming the bully that is Chad Gable. Or whatever this turn is, it's leading to an Otis versus Chad Gable match. But at that point, I'm thinking Gable's going to be the champion. So is this all to get Otis the Intercontinental title? That's the question.
I hope not. I just hope this is a very slow way of Gable stripping himself of this shit and being more serious.
Well, you can't be too serious.
Why?
Because you got to be entertaining.
You can be entertaining and serious at the same time.
I don't know. I think he's just.
We just saw the greatest wrestler on God's green earth in the first segment of the match. This motherfucker is nothing but serious, and he's all entertaining.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Gunther's the type of guy like, oh, it's my first WrestleMania. I'm going to do something very drastic for my attire. I'm going to do navy blue instead of black.
Yeah, that's Gunther, all right.
And Kaiser goes, no, that's too crazy. Your parents are watching.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that he'll say something the same way, and then he'll be like, "I'm sorry for losing my temper."
Yeah.
or Kaiser will say something and he'll laugh. I'm sorry. I know you don't usually see me in that way.
It was funny that when they hugged at the beginning of Raw, I thought Kaiser was going to kiss Gunther. And they were going to have like an awkward moment where Gunther just stares at him.
Like, what the fuck?
And Kaiser's like, oh, I'm sorry. I got carried away. So Baszler and Stark have some TV time, and they're next in line to lose to the Agenda. And then Sonya Deville was there. And Unholy Union made an appearance.
Oh, yeah, now I remember.
And they look just like normal chicks now, not supernatural at all. So,
hey, Isla Dawn never looks normal.
Fair. Fair. But all the things that made them interesting, they just completely stripped away. So Unholy Union's dead to me now.
Fair enough.
So Useless Liv Morgan beat Seth's husband. Dominic tried and failed to help Seth's husband win again because that's more of a benefit to Rhea than Useless Liv holding the title for a while. Somehow, I don't know. Judgment Day come out to talk Dom out of it, but Dom stands firm. Strowman comes out to do a stupid freight train thing. He ends up hitting Dom into the cage door, which hits Seth's husband in the face. Useless Liv crawls out of the cage and makes ugly faces. I guess she was supposed to be hurt or something. I don't know. Didn't convince me of anything because she's useless. And then Useless Liv goes to leave. And then she runs into Dominic, who's just standing there stewing at her. And Useless Liv kisses him. And I don't give a fuck about any of this.
Well, she pretty much graped him. Poor Dom, right?
Hashtag me too.
Like, poor Dom, defenseless. He just gets attacked by
such a victim.
Yeah. And
this predator.
That was one thing. But the bigger news of this whole thing was this did not air on American soil.
Really?
The kiss.
Oh, we're that country now.
Well, yeah. So, yeah. Well, maybe some other places it didn't air, but if you have USA Network, they threw the USA graphic up. They're on the fucking Law and Order, SVU, and then you go online and you see, oh, after Raw went off the air, or this is what you Americans missed. So yeah, it cut out. But hey, actually, I'm sorry, it wasn't Law and Order SVU. They're on. I don't even know what it is. It's some stupid island thing, Survivor Island, something like that. Crap. No, wait.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, I need to shit on it properly. Deal or No Deal Island. Yeah. That one. Oh, although some people say it's pretty good, but
it's not.
I think it's trash.
There's no way. The original show was sucked, so there's no way moving it to an island is any better.
It had its moments,
if you say so. So but apparently,
it was cut off of TV for us.
That's stupid. Apparently, Seth's husband's going away for a while, and thank the Almighty Christ for that.
Yeah, I guess we were gonna get into the stories.
Oh, then we can wait. Okay. We can wait.
Yeah, we need to get it proper so that the YouTube video is easy to cut up for the editor.
Fair enough. Well, that was Raw. Any final thoughts?
Nah, there's no final thoughts.
All right. Well, I am looking forward to seeing what happens with Gunther and whoever he faces at SummerSlam. I do think it's going to be Priest.
Yeah, I think it'll be Priest. And I think Gunther's walking out as champion. Just my early prediction.
He better. And they can be champion forever. And they have to create a fourth belt. Like, nobody's ever going to beat him.
It is interesting yeah, it's interesting to think ahead and like, who is going to beat Gunther?
Well, there's Breaker. They can do Dragunov. I don't know if they can do Dragunov now because he just got destroyed by Breaker. Now he's just another guy. He's on the level of Ricochet.
Well, that's because Breaker's on another level himself.
Right, but so Dragunov's supposed to be like the Red Dragon and the fucking Madman and all this shit. He's supposed to be just on another plane and
he is.
He's not. He's not. He's having long ass competitive matches with fucking Ricochet. He's making overdramatic faces. He's getting
Well,
saved by Ricochet. He's getting destroyed by Braun Breaker.
again,
He's
that's the
nothing
speed
special.
champion right
He does
there.
his little fucking conductor shit with his stupid little fucking faces. He's nothing. He'll never be anything. He needs to fucking go away. Get off my TV screen.
That's the speed champion you're talking about in Ricochet, and Breaker is an alien. So there.
No.
Just yeah, but you don't like Dragunov. I get it. And go ahead, clip that, by the way.
So we go to Albany, New York for SmackDown, and our walkers tonight are the Bloodline and the Street Profits. Why have walkers? if the Street Profits are your only walkers, just don't have a walking segment, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Aldis starts off in the ring. He brings out Nia Jax to congratulate her for King of the Ring. Bayley came out. Bayley got attacked by the Whale, and while the Harpy watched, Whale had to stare down with Jax like she doesn't get creamed every time they face off. Naomi and Bayley got together and gird over the Whale and the Harpy. They wanted to match later, and then poor man's Paige and Naomi had a moment.
Okay.
So AJ Styles.
Sorry, it took me a while to calculate all that.
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
who's poor man's Page? And yeah, sorry, it just took me a second to get all that.
You'll know who I am. I don't. No, you don't need to tell me who you are. I'll tell you who I am. Blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. I don't like you already. You little faces.
Blair Davenport. There's something to mention there. Oh, yeah. So apparently we've already gotten the match set up. So Clash at the Castle. Piper Niven will be facing Bayley. It is official. Officially, they put the graphic up and all.
Oh God.
So,
well,
yes.
It doesn't matter. I wouldn't have watched it anyway.
You know, I watch it live, so I can't not watch it. But I will. This does call for being on my phone during the match.
Yeah.
It's a good time to check Twitter, we'll say, or X, or whatever you want to call it.
That's just. I can't stand when they do because she's been nothing but a joke. The Whale.
Even better, she's only won one match. She's won in 19 in her last 20 matches.
Yeah, and so then,
and I believe the one match would have. I don't know if the match she just won tonight was the one that was the one.
Well, they had the tag titles for a while.
Oh yeah, but that was last year.
Yeah, it was recent though. But anyway, they've been nothing but a joke, and they just kind of reactivate her to be a spooky monster for somebody to lift later. I'm over it. They already do that with Nia Jax, and if I'm not impressed with it with Nia Jax, who is like 3 Piper Nivens.
That's
seriously,
true,
Piper Niven's looking up at Nia Jax. I'm gonna be a threat to you. Come on, seriously?
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know. This is my bigger thing is, they're kind of treating Bayley bad. Her whole title reign has been just there's been no story. Like I said last week, I didn't even remember she was champion. Didn't even remember she was on the roster, if I'm being honest.
That's pretty apropos to the lineage of this title.
Well, who was the champion last?
Well, Asuka, Asuka first had
EO.
it. Asuka first had it. She was a joke. Then what? Bianca had it for a while, I think, and then Io somehow got it, and yeah, it's just been nothing but an afterthought.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess you're right.
So Bailey, Bailey just being an afterthought, that's not really new.
That's true. It's just sad because she's one of the horsewomen. She should be treated with more than just being an afterthought. Getting Piper Niven, who's won one match in the last 19 of her matches, as a contender, and well, I guess to WWE's defense, um, if we can give them a little bit of grace, they only found out last week that they're going to have this pay per view in Scotland, wherever it is, Glasgow. They only knew this information last week, so they had to throw it together last minute.
Are you serious?
No, that's what I'm saying. They knew about this for so long. They could have started building her. Like, when you sign it, oh, we're going to Glasgow. Maybe at that moment we should start building Piper Niven up as a credible contender.
There's nothing to build up, though. They've already built her up and torn her down. You can't redo that.
Well, everybody has a little push, pause, and pause.
No, there's not
start.
a pause. It's like it's like those scary, like the Jason movies where he keeps dying, and it's like eventually like, okay, man, come on.
No, you're not watching Jason movies for that. You're watching Jason movies to see him freeze someone and then smash their frozen head.
But you eventually have to get to the end of the movie, and they'll stab him in the eye, and then it'll just fall. Well, no, first it starts out like they'll push him, and then he just falls and dies. And then they look away. Then they look away, and then he's gone. And it progresses to them decapitating him, but he keeps coming back. But eventually it's just like, okay. That's what they do with Niven. It's stupid.
Well, sorry,
she's not protected at all.
Way.
What?
I said, I'm sorry you have to live that way. I watch, if there's a Jason movie out next week, I'm going to watch it next week.
Oh, me too.
And I know what's going to happen.
Me too.
That's okay.
Okay. I'll watch a Jason movie, but I won't watch a Piper Niven match.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a sad state of affairs. They could have done so much more if they were going to do this match. I'm not saying you got to get people to care about Piper Niven. I'm just saying you can make it a little bit more believable, as you did know this was coming. Like, start building her up a little bit. Just get her on a little winning streak.
I just don't think you can, because they haven't even made an attempt to protect her. If she's supposed to be a threat to anything.
Well, she could string together some wins.
She goes, okay, but
like if she would have went through.
But we already saw her get tossed one-handed by Nia Jax. She's a joke.
That's the other thing. Like, who's she going to put a winning streak on in SmackDown? You going to beat Jade? Nope. You going to beat Bianca? Nope. Naomi? That's who you're going to have to beat week in and week out to be credible.
Yeah. How long has she got to stick around?
She just got back.
I know. Isn't the whole reason she left because of the whole creative thing?
Yeah. I'm sure Triple H is like, oh, don't worry, we got something for you. Just you're gonna have to lose a little bit, and then we're gonna turn it around for you.
But who are you supposed?
That's Triple H voice.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know, he's got that like raspy whisper thing.
I know what Triple H sounds like, but he don't sound like what you just tried to do.
Oh well, it was close enough.
Okay. So AJ Styles wants to talk to Nick Aldis about his future, and he asks for just one more time in the ring, and Nick grants it to him. LA Knight later wants to know what's up with Aldis, and wants to know what's up with Logan Paul. Aldis can't help him. Or shit, what the fuck? What was
He
up
wants
with
to know
Styles?
where. Oh, good.
Yeah, we wanted to know about Styles. Then he asked about Logan Paul, and later Knight calls out Paul, says he wants his title, and then Carmelo Hayes came in, and whatever.
There was a little moment. Has nothing to do with the story in the grand scheme of things.
Okay.
But Naomi is talking with Aldis, and LA Knight walks in, and then he like, what did he say? He said something to her, and then he like stares her down, like he's getting, he's giving her the Kavorka, as Wade Barrett says. It's like, LA Knight ain't got that much. Like, you're out of your league there, LA Knight. You ain't got that much uh, soul in you.
You never know.
Yeah, he wears Timberlands. Yeah, he listens to rap music, but
Yeah.
yeah, but it's like you know. Well, I guess Dustin did well for himself. This is being an old. For people who don't know, we have an old friend Dustin. He acted black, and then he ended up dating a black chick, and I guess he held his own with that.
Did he?
Yeah, he's still. I guess he's married to one now.
Mm-mm.
He moved to Africa, as a matter of fact. Like he really went in. Like, you don't got to be that. You know, you don't got to go that deep with it. It's okay.
That just sounds nuts to me.
I know.
Like, I'm not opposed to moving or relocating for somebody, but why Africa? What? Once you get a, that's like, might as well go to North Korea. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
But he's
anyway,
really
Champ,
committed. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah, Ciampa beat Theory. I wrote so.
The only thing in this match was there was a moment. For some reason, Grayson Waller starts to yell at commentary that Theory he's the reason Theory's where he's at right now because of the Grayson Waller rub, and that cost Theory the match because he's like, "Why'd you say that?" So I guess they're teasing a split. I don't know. Again, they were already teasing it, and I guess they're re-teasing.
Cool. Well, Andre Idolo beat Apollo Cruz, and didn't they like already wrestle when he first came back?
um, maybe.
I feel like they're doing the exact same shit that they did when he first came back.
Well, it was to my surprise that Apollo Cruz was on the roster. Maybe okay. I can see that probably they did this already because I feel like I've already made that joke. Unfortunately, hey, they're rehashing content. I can rehash content.
he and
Go right
Lashley,
back to the well.
he and Lashley need to be a tag team. It'd be like it would be just like Crash Holly and Bob Holly, only better.
He
So
needs to.
Escobar was that?
Oh, I was just saying he needs a crash dummy. That being Lashley.
Yeah, can you imagine just Lashley coming out all serious, and then you have Apollo Crews just marching out with a backwards baseball cap on?
Well,
Oh,
Crash
get him!
Holly thought he was 9 feet tall.
Yeah,
So did Spike Dudley.
Apollo Crews thinks he's 9 feet tall too. It works.
There you go.
So Escobar and the bad Mexicans were there to watch Andrade. So they're redoing the Judgment Day shit too. So they're redoing a couple things with Andrade in my mind. And then they're standing on the entranceway. They hold out their hands in friendship to Andrade, and he just brushes past them. Escobar gets pissed off at one of his Mexicans, and later Cruz beats up one of the bad Mexicans in the locker room.
Yep, that would be Angel Garza.
Cool.
And I guess they're putting it on Angel Garza to figure this out. So,
Okay.
like, hey, you need to get Idolo in this group. Because, I don't know.
All right.
I'm trying here.
We get the bloodline.
But I will say, just that's what makes us different from, like, Fightful. You know, Fightful, they just regurgitate everything and it's like no opinion or anything. And we will tell you the things, but we also will tell you when we don't care about it either.
Yeah. No, there's plenty of people that will tell you they don't care.
Oh.
But there's also plenty of people that will try to like make this seem like it's something awesome. And
yeah, it's the most entertaining thing. It's like, yeah, sure.
like, I'm sorry, the payoff is the bad Mexicans. It's just more Mexicans feuding with each other. Why do they all have to feud with each other? Why do they all have to be friends? Why can't they all just like? Why do all the black people have to be friends with the black people?
Because Triple H is fucking racist.
Everybody's just so segregated in their own little race groups. It's like prison.
Yeah. I guess that's just your WWE tropes.
Okay.
The colors have to stay together. The colors have to stay together, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah, so Bloodline are backstage. Solo is hyping up Tama and Tonga, and he's telling them to do everything in their power to take out the Street Profits. And I'm like, where the fuck are we right now? Where the Bloodline is having to hype themselves up for the fucking Street Profits. Heyman slides in, says he's been thinking about his role with the current Bloodline, and with Roman in charge, there was counsel and strategy. Now there isn't. There's just violence for the sake of it. They need to get in a position where they have Cody in check when Roman comes back. Solo says Cody is in check. He just doesn't even know it now. And then Heyman asks, who's we? And Kevin Owens' music interrupts.
That is a question. Who is we?
And then there's a very loud "We want Roman" chant.
But who's we? Who is we? That's the question.
Well, there's three of them. Wouldn't that be the we?
See, that's the question.
Is it a question?
Is it those three? That's the we? Is it him and Roman? Or is it Roman Reigns actually calling the orders? And that's the we? Is it The Rock pulling the strings? Is that the we? Who is the we?
Well, I guess we'll find out. Well, Owens hits the ring. He's back to fight the Bloodline. Hooray. Heyman interrupts him. Heyman says Owens is making a mistake. What Roman did was out of respect. Solo has no respect, and he's recruiting the worst of the worst. And they aren't people. They're just bloodthirsty thugs. They're just looking for an excuse to take you out. Heyman pleads with Owens to back off. Owens doesn't care. It's his world. he doesn't want or need Heyman's help. Heyman's pissed that no one's listening to him when all he's trying to do is save people from the bloodline. Heyman gets carried away and hits Owens with the microphone. Owens makes to go after Heyman. Bloodline comes out, and then so do the Street Profits.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Heyman's pretty much, he was trying to
He lost
beg.
it.
He was begging for help without flat out asking for it. That's one. Owens said Brock Lesnar on television. So that was a thing. Is it hinting that maybe Owens is that maybe Lesnar's making a return to TV?
Oh, maybe
They're
we're
warming you up with his name.
getting that long-awaited Kevin Owens Brock Lesnar feud we've been clamoring for.
Well, I don't care about that. I'm just saying.
Nobody cares about that.
I'm just saying Brock Lesnar being back on TV. Because, he likes pee, so he has to be off TV forever. Like, seriously, he did nothing. I hear these other creators like, oh, yeah, forever. For what? Liking pee? He never met her. By her own admission, he never met her. He asked for a video. He didn't force it on her. Like, I mean, if we're at the point where you're forced when you're not even in the same room as the person, like, I don't know if that's an America I want to live in. Like, come on. Oh, he forced me. He's not even in the room with you. How's someone forcing you to do something and they're 500 miles away from you?
Well, Heyman also seems to be exasperated that he's warning everybody about how dangerous Solo and the new Tongas are, and nobody seems to be taking them seriously. Now, to be fair, they haven't really done anything to really pose a gigantic threat. Like, their actions aren't matching Heyman's words. Like, there was that one little thing with the rent-a-cars, but
yeah, the vehicular manslaughter, that's the one.
The one a long time ago. And Owens is still walking. Owens was right there, living to tell the tale.
Well,
So
yeah.
if these are the most dangerous men and vile thugs, why is Owens still walking?
Because they're not done with him yet.
Okay.
And then, yeah, the other thing. Oh, I forgot the other thing I was going to say. Oh, Roman Reigns. So apparently, the Friday after Money in the Bank is when he's slated to come back.
Oh, cool.
So maybe that changes, but yeah, as of right now, he is slated to be back the Friday after Money in the Bank, which then gives him time to set up for what he's going to be doing at SummerSlam.
That's kind of crazy. I thought he'd be gone for a lot longer.
Yeah, maybe he is. Maybe that's just a false report.
Well, I mean, either way. Just, you've been champion for 1,000 days. I thought he'd be gone for at least a year or something.
Yeah, I didn't think he was coming. If we remember, I said he wasn't coming back.
Or maybe he comes back to fuck over The Rock or something at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I could say that.
Or it comes back the Raw after. Because Cody beats The Rock and then Roman comes. You couldn't get it done. Final boss. You couldn't get it done either. Well, we both couldn't get it done. Well, let's get it done together.
Yeah.
Well, Tama and Tonga beat the Street Profits. Whatever.
Well, you say whatever, but I do want to say this was Tongaloa's in-ring debut, and all the people who kept putting those memes that he can't wrestle, the little botch 619, the destroying of Okada that he did. Where are you now? Because he wrestled and he did pretty damn good. So all the people who were doing the memes and saying, "Oh, WWE signed this," well, look at you now. Because he had a he looked pretty damn good to me. That suplex, the uh, stiff clotheslines. So, ha. You look like idiots now, or you look like AEW fanboys, which means you like you watch five people wrestle.
Well, Jade Not Jade had a backstage segment. Then Mia Yim stood up to Nia Jax backstage. And the Whale and the Harpy beat Bailey and Naomi. And I laughed.
Yep. Like I said, we have set it up. That Piper Niven v. Bailey.
And then we get AJ Styles. And he's walking to the ring. And he runs into LA Knight. LA Knight just slightly nods to AJ and says, "Respect." AJ just nods solemnly and continues his way. And then he runs into Cody. They have a little moment and they shake hands, and Styles runs into Gallows and Anderson, and they show proof of life. And Styles wants them out there with him one last time. And Styles says that when you talk to Aldis about about another title opportunity, he said, "I need to get in the back of the line. And at this stage of my career, I just can't do that. And maybe instead of being a phenomenal wrestler, I need to be a phenomenal dad instead." Styles asks Gallows and Anderson to do their finger kiss one last time before he calls Cody out. Cody comes out, thanks AJ Styles for being the big brother of the locker room. Cody raises his arms and does all the adulation and shit. And they, it's all hugs and kisses. And then Styles just beats the shit out of Cody. And he does a Styles clash from the steel steps to the floor. So I guess Styles isn't retiring.
He is not retiring.
So
This was a callback to the Mark Henry fake retirement.
Okay.
That he did. Yeah, he did. Mark Henry kind of did the same thing with John Cena.
He ain't going to the back of the line. He's jumping right into the front.
Yep. And it was a perfect catch plan. Nick Aldis said, "You got to go to the back of the line." Well, then I'll retire. Fake and attack Cody. Get Cody to drop his guard and I'll attack him. And now Cody's going to be asking for a title match.
Yep. Now I can lose to him again.
Yes. Where do they go on the back end of that? That's going to be the question.
My only issue is that they already did it.
The match or the
yeah, the match. It's like we already saw them. So I don't know. I guess if they don't have anything better for Cody, it beats Logan Paul.
Well, like I said, this is what happens when you're a fighting champion. Now you have to be on every pay-per-view.
That's true.
If this was Roman Reigns, we wouldn't have to worry about another title defense until SummerSlam. And that being being creative there. Oh, well, Roman Reigns is not going to be here until SummerSlam, so we don't have to worry about that. But now you got Cody who wants to wrestle every pay-per-view, so now you got to figure something out.
Well, we'll see. I don't see Styles being like the evil heel. I just see him being kind of an asshole. but I'm willing to give him a chance.
Yeah, some people like their first match.
I don't want to go that far, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where I'm at on that, but some people did like it. So to see it again, they'll be okay with that. Um, I'm okay with it because I don't know. These international shows are just like there. It's seemingly that these international shows are more about the crowd than anything else.
okay. I didn't feel that with Saudi.
Well, that's different because allegedly you know the prince wants what he wants, which I
Okay.
still think is just the ridiculous even to think about. Like the prince of Saudi is over here worried about Ricochet wrestling a match.
Have you seen Ricochet's matches? I'd be worried too.
What I'm saying, like,
You better not have
I
that
don't
old
know.
fucker on. If that motherfucker sets foot in Saudi, he's getting his head chopped off, or whatever it is we do here.
Well, to me, I don't know. It's just like, and it's probably ignorance, but I would equate the prince of Saudi to be like, I don't know, Joe Biden. So it's like,
So completely off of his rocker.
no, I'm just saying, like, I don't think Joe Biden's worried about who's wrestling, and you know, like he's got allegedly more stuff to worry about, like
Mm. What
inflation
flavor of ice
and
cream he likes?
about the economy going to shit,
Properly
about
walking
people
up a
having to
flight
work
of
10
stairs.
jobs to live a life that they live the same life that they did, last year, and now you got to work 10 jobs to do it.
Stringing a sentence together.
Like I had to it's such hard times. I had to drink lemon water as a like as a because to cut back on soda because soda's expensive. It's like, oh well, I'll put lemon in my water and that'll be the flavor I need for the day. Like how pathetic.
It's funny you mentioned that. I went to go get a Fago. I remember they used to be like 70 cents. Now they cost as much as a 20-ounce Coca-Cola used to cost.
Yeah, it's like $2 and something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I don't even know. We're so far from I don't even know where we got there, how we got there.
Oh, you started talking about the
Oh, the prince worried about wrestling when allegedly he should be worried about running their country thing.
yeah.
Or
Well, it just goes to show that there's a lack of priorities in all forms of leadership, I guess.
true.
But that was SmackDown.
Another SmackDown. Everything is being set up. Oh yeah, that was the ultimate thing. Is this Saudi or I'm sorry, this Glasgow show seems more that's going to be more just about the crowd than anything else.
We'll see. I mean, McIntyre kind of hyped him up to be something. There, he made it sound like that they're going to be off the chain. He kind of put it on them to be more insane than France.
I think they'll be about the same.
I don't know. It's going to be hard to top France. There's been moments, and that's where the crowds will be just as boisterous as France was, but France was like that from start to finish.
That's true. Well, yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. And when you're putting on Piper Niven versus Bailey, well, what are you expecting here?
Right. That's true. But that is it for the modern stuff. And while you do the shills, I am going to refill my beverage.
All right. Chill time. I'm going to go for a minute here until you get back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at 457 subscribers. So we are again on our way to 500 subscribers. We need your help to get there. So if you can do us a favor, hit the like button uh, to help the video get out to more people. Hit the subscribe button so that subscriber count can go. Uh, I would say we're trying to get there by the goal is SummerSlam. That's the mission. SummerSlam, we are trying to get to 500 subscribers, 1,000 by the end of the year. I'm putting it out in the ethos. So that's the mission, and we can only get there through you guys. So hit the buttons. You can find us on other social medias like Spotify, TikTok. Uh, what else are we on? Twitter, and I think that's it. Link to everything will be in the description next to the like button. And that's all for that. But he's not back yet, so I'm going to keep going. We also have an affiliate link. So if you are buying anything on Shop WWE, make sure to use our link in the description. We get a little kickback. Thank you for the support. And now that's it. Let us know in the chat how you guys are doing. Let us know what you think about all the stuff that we talked about. Is AJ Styles going to beat Cody Rhodes? Is Roman Reigns going to come back and take back from Solo the bloodline? Is everybody looking like an idiot because of Tongaloa being a decent wrestler? Is Gunther going to beat Damian Priest?
No, when is Gunther going to beat Damian Priest?
Oh, I was stalling.
I know.
And I was just asking questions.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get in our.
Oh, never mind. I'll tell you later.
You sure? Good.
No, I'll tell you later.
All right. Well, let's get in our wrestling rewind.
And this is the retro review of WrestleMania.
WrestleMania X8 or 18, if you want to be technical. We're on Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And fucking Saliva plays a song. And it was Superstar from their album. And I want to shit all over it, but I can't. It was awesome. And if you were observant, you can get all the cliff notes from the storylines we're going to go into from the little Titantron video that they played in the background. So it's cool.
That's what I was paying attention to because I don't know. That song wasn't missed for me.
Really?
Maybe it's just because of it was live and I don't know the context of what the song actually sounds like in studio.
We've heard it.
I'm sure.
We were sitting in my car while I had their one CD that they've had, and we've listened to it.
Well, I have to hear it again.
That's
It's
fair.
just right now I can't even think of who Saliva is.
Click, click, boom.
Oh, well, why didn't they play that song? Why they go trying to play new songs?
Because this was their hit at the time.
Oh, there you go.
Well, after that, they play an epic WrestleMania video package, and different wrestlers do a voiceover, and a bunch of WrestleMania legends have returned by this point. So it's cool that they got to do the nostalgic shit. It's like Hogan and Hall.
Yeah.
And others. Can't remember who was in it. I probably would have aired this before the saliva part personally, but I don't run WrestleMania. So it officially starts and Drowning Pool plays. And man, Vince really opened the checkbook for this WrestleMania. And Ross and Lawler are on commentary. And the first match of the evening is RVD versus Lord Steven Regal. It's for the Intercontinental title. And Regal comes out waving like a pompous British asshole. RVD doesn't let Regal get into the ring and is on the attack. RVD whips Regal's ass with a series of kicks. Regal lands a couple of punches or forearms and starts digging at his dick. Turns out he has brass knuckles or knucks. Regal goes to nail RVD, then RVD kicks him out of Regal's hand. Then RVD lands a couple more kicks on Regal, then goes for a 5-star frog splash and misses. Then it turns into a pretty straightforward match. Pretty interesting watching RVD get superplexed personally. Although I know he wrestled Taz, so this was probably like nothing compared to that. But I'm just used to seeing all the flips and the kicks and shit. I'm not used to seeing RVD take a whole lot of offense.
Yeah, he was a great sell.
And Regal and RVD's mouths were busted open. And I thought this was going to be a total stylist clash, but RVD's kick offense worked really well with Regal's punch you in the face type of, move set. And Regal hits a nasty half Nelson suplex on RVD. RVD sold it beautifully, like his eyes rolled into the back of his head. And RVD
He did
rolled
get
out.
dropped on the back of his head.
Yeah, but it looked like he had his hand covering it.
Oh, I didn't watch that close.
Yeah.
I just saw him folded up.
He did fold up, and yeah, he sold it beautifully. And RVD rolled out of the ring, but Regal went after him and threw him back in. Then Regal also takes the time to pick up the brass knucks from earlier. And it was all for nothing because the referee immediately sees him and takes the knucks away. And Regal then digs into his penis and pulls out a second pair of brass knucks. Then Regal turns around, RVD kicks him in the face, then hits him with a frog splash, 1, 2, 3. If Regal had a second pair of brass knuckles, then why the fuck did he waste all that time getting the first pair?
There were a decoy.
Okay.
He was playing such a smart game that he was gonna get the ref to take out the first brass knuck, and then he was gonna use the second brass knuck. It's the old get one chair so that the ref can take the chair and then get another chair. Decoy.
Oh no, the ref could have taken the second pair, then Regal could have got the first pair.
But you got to go out of the ring to get the other pair.
Which is what he did.
He was already out of the ring.
Well, yeah,
He
you
was
can
getting
work it
back
to where
in the ring when he grabbed it.
You can work it till you get out of the ring and you can casually go get it. Maybe he goes and ties his shoe.
Okay.
Christian's interviewed by Lillian Garcia. And Christian has some sort of Tourette's where he keeps grinning like a dumb idiot. And Lillian says Christian's facing a former mentor in DDP. And they play a video package to bring everybody up to speed. In the video, DDP helped Christian beat Billy Gunn, who's been hanging around Chuck Palumbo and Goldust at this point. I assume Goldust because that's the only thing that explains it. Christian ends up attacking DDP, and it's a pretty straightforward video, actually. And Christian says after using DDP to get back into the winner's circle, he doesn't need him anymore. And he says he's a huge star now, which is why he decided he doesn't need Toronto anymore either. And he moved to Florida. Christian says he's in touch with his emotions and he's ready to be a champion of Europe. And then he smiles again. And he smiled so wide and so over dramatically, his lips started quivering. And Lillian Garcia was awful.
Okay. The smile was him making fun of DDP's gimmick
Okay.
because DDP had this, I don't know, overly positive gimmick
Oh, he did.
in
Oh,
his
yeah.
short stint in WWE. I don't know. He did not last long in WWE.
No.
And if you see that, you know why. They didn't treat him as the superstar that he was. As like
No.
Vince McMahon wanted his own WCW people to be stars, not the ones that were already made. I don't even think he won. Did he win a world title? No. In
DDP?
WWE? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He won the European title. That's the closest.
Yeah. Not a long stint.
No. So Christian versus DDP for the European title. Christian comes out to his good theme music, and he specifically requested that his hometown be listed as Tampa instead of Florida or instead of Toronto. And the theme music is, Christian, Christian, finally you're on your own. Down. Yeah, it's good shit. DDP came out, and I have no idea what Vince did to him. he looked like he borrowed Rey Mysterio's pants. He's smiling like a kid diddler. Whatever DDP had in WCW, just left there. The match was a match.
Vince stripped him down.
Oh my god. Yeah, and like you said, the smiling and the facial hair was the worst part.
Oh, the goatee thing.
Yeah. And he had short hair. Just awful. So yeah, the match was a match. DDP did a gut wrench gut buster thing that was pretty cool. And Christian countered a diamond cutter with his implant. And DDP finally hit a diamond cutter 1, 2, 3. So at least that was protected. And DDP didn't get much of a reaction. After the match, DDP grabbed a mic, commended Christian for not losing his temper and his losing effort, which prompted Christian to lose his temper. And he threw a temper tantrum. It was a proper temper tantrum where he was rolling around and kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
And DDP left through the crowd, and he had issues finding somewhere to stand so he could do his little DDP sign.
I didn't even notice that part.
Oh, I did. He went to the left, and he couldn't fucking stand. He kept falling off, so then he went to the right.
If I'm being honest, I lost track of him when he went into the crowd.
That's fair.
I didn't even see him. Like they said, he's moving through the crowd, and I didn't see him at all.
But yeah,
he didn't look like a wrestler anymore with that short hair, and yeah, he just looked like a normal dude.
Well, even when DDP was wrestling Johnny B. Bad as a nobody in WCW, he looked better presented than what we saw at WrestleMania X8.
Yeah, sure did. He looked like a wrestler back then.
Yep. Well, the coach is with The Rock, and Coach starts saying how this is the biggest match of Rock's career. He's wrestling Hogan, of course. And Rock interrupts Coach, says this match will determine the greatest to ever do it. Rock says Hogan asked him on Raw, what you going to do when Hulkamania runs wild on you? Rock says, I want you to run wild, Hogan. I want you in all of your Hulkamania glory. And then Rock makes Coach pray.
Yep, he asked Coach, have you taken your vitamins? Well, yeah, I did. Have you said your prayers? Well, I was in a hurry. It's never you're never in too much, or it's always a good time to say your prayers. Go ahead and say your prayers. And then Coach says, what up, G? And The Rock stops him at that point. What in the blue hell was that? What up, G? And then literally kicks him out of the area backstage there. And then cuts the rest of his promo. It was funny. I laughed.
Okay. Well, Goldust faced Maven for the hardcore title, and Goldust is back to normal. And I'm not gonna lie, I expected him to reveal a set of tits and a strap on when he took his robe off. Like, it wasn't like they're gonna get me somehow. And it was actually a pretty good match. Goldust was the veteran, Maven was the inexperienced rookie, and it showed. And for some reason, Goldust had gold trash cans and a gold shovel.
The golden shovel.
But I especially like the spot where Goldust stomped the head of the shovel so the handle whipped into Maven's throat.
Yeah.
Like Wile E. Coyote or some shit. And Goldust,
that Maven guy is gonna. I bet in the future he's gonna turn out to be a pretty decent YouTuber. Not that I watch his content. Not that I watch his content. I just see his subscriber growth growing, and I only assume that means he's a good YouTuber. I mean,
I just think
there.
Well, never mind. Goldust actually showed a killer side, and I could believe this version of Goldust competing for something better than a crummy hardcore title. And Goldust leaves the ring to get, especially like when he had Maven in the corner, he's just stomping the shit out of him, and he's just beating the fuck out of him, and hitting him and hitting him and hitting him. And you just see this look of rage on his face.
He's probably upset that he had to do
probably
this.
So Goldust leaves. He gets a gold trash can lid, even though there was one already in the ring. And I think it was actually right by his foot when he decided to get the other one. And it turns out so they can do a dueling trash can lid spot. And then fucking Spike Dudley comes in while both men are down. He pins Maven, steals the hardcore title. Crash Holly came out to chase off Spike. Goldust and Maven followed after that.
What a crazy way to end the hardcore match. And surely that's going to be the last hardcore segment of WrestleMania.
Thank God for that. And now to tell us the story of tonight's WWF Undisputed match, Drowning Pool. And all they did was sing Tearaway while a video package played on the Titantron, just like earlier.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Oh, yeah, they're going to tell us the story of this rivalry and proceed to say not one word about it.
Right, they just sang one of their songs.
Yeah.
I was too busy listening to the song to give a fuck about the video. I gathered Triple H and Stephanie are fighting. That was about it.
Yeah, Stephanie apparently has joined the forces with Jericho. So yeah, her and Triple H are feuding. I felt kind of bad for Drowning Pool on this one. The crowd couldn't give two shits about that song.
I couldn't tell if they were cheering or not.
I don't think it didn't look like they were. It just looks like they were just there, like waiting for it to be over.
I enjoyed it.
Now, it's not even a bad song. As a matter of fact, it's a good song. But yeah, that crowd didn't care about it.
It was a good song. It was also awesome seeing Dave Williams performing, even though it was at a WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. So Spike and Crash Holly are fighting. And I didn't realize it was this soon. Al Snow tries to kill him with a golf cart. Spike tries to get away. Hurricane whooshes and swinging on a cable. He knocks out Spike and then wins the hardcore title. Hurricane does a superhero pose, then whooshes out of sight. Like literally whooshes. There's a whoosh sound effect.
Is it a sound effect or was it him?
Either he made the sound effect or they played a sound effect. There was a sound effect.
Yes. Well, he's a superhero.
It's true. And Al Snow came bumbling back into the scene.
That's hardcore segment number 2 of the night
Yes.
of WrestleMania, by the way.
WrestleMania X8. Kurt Angle versus Kane. And before the match, Angle grabs a mic and says if he won a gold medal like Canada did, he'd shoot himself in the head. This is dated. I don't know what the story is with Canada and their gold medals. And Angle didn't get his medal by complaining until someone gave him one. He won it the old-fashioned way because he's the big red, white, and blue machine.
And there's some faint "you suck" chants.
There were a faint "you suck" chants.
So they're starting to.
I can't believe he stole Gable's gimmick.
Yeah.
So this was pretty hard-hitting. Both men proved to be evenly matched, so there's like a lot of back and forth. Angle does Benoit's rolling German suplexes. That hits Kane with a clothesline from the top. Angle starts to feel himself, he even woos. So he goes for another one. But Kane catches him on the way down with a clothesline of his own. Kane starts to gain momentum, hits Angle with a giant power slam. He grabs Angle by the throat, delivers a humongous choke slam, and it looks like that's all she wrote. The Angle just barely gets the back of his hand on the rope, which is great. Kane signals for a tombstone. Angle reverses it, tries to rip Kane's mask off. Angle hits Kane with an angle slam, but while Kane's fucking with his mask, but it's only a 2 count. Angle pissed, drops the singlets, gets Kane in an ankle lock. Kane fights out of it, so Angle gets him in it again. And I love that it's a trope, but I love when they fight out of the ankle lock, so they just get him in it again. It's like, well, fuck you. You're gonna tap to this. So Kane eventually. What's that?
I was just saying, go back to the well.
Yeah. So Kane eventually fights the ropes, then delivers a giant enziguri to Angle, and that surprisingly was not the finish because it looked like he swung like a tree at Angle's head.
Mm-hmm.
And Kane goes for a top rope clothesline. Angle turns around and on instinct runs and catches Kane and does basically an arm drag. The Angle goes for another Angle slam. Kane counters and goes for a choke slam, and then Angle counters into a roll up, I think. Yeah, it was a roll up. And then Angle gets the awkward pin with his feet on the ropes, and Kane's shoulder was also up, and JR was all over that shit. Oh, his shoulder's up. Got another controversy.
Yep. Got caught. Did Kane.
This is a good match,
surprised.
though. You're surprised that Kane won or lost?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, like, how's Angle going to beat Kane when his move is a ankle lock?
Well, it's also the Angle slam.
Well, he hadn't started. Well, now he has, but I didn't think he had started it yet.
The Angle slam was his first move. The ankle lock was his second move.
Oh, you're right. But yeah, it was. I still thought Kane was going to win this going into the review here, so I was surprised.
I wasn't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you got it.
I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised that Angle won. In fact, I was expecting him to win. I was more surprised, or I was more looking forward to seeing how Angle was going to wrestle Kane, because Angle is a wrestler, right? And Kane is basically the Undertaker 2.0. So just that difference in style, and it worked. Right. They just beat the fuck out of each other.
They did mention something on commentary, though, that I found. Well, they mentioned 2 things. One, Kurt Angle, I believe they said he was the first Grand Slam champion, and it took him 2 years to do it. So he won every title that they had at the time. Second, they said that he tapped out Kane,
He did, yeah.
which I found some amazing information to find out. So I didn't think Kane ever tapped out in his career.
He was the only man to tap out Kane at that point.
Yeah, didn't think it happened.
Yeah. Well, then he takes his mask off, and then all bets are off.
Yeah, he can tap out at that point.
So the Hurricane's back.
Number
he's,
3.
he's sneaking, and he grabs a broom for some reason. He just sees a broom. Oh, I'll grab that. And a group of hoes come in, so Hurricane does what comes natural to him and hides. The hose then starts. They start talking about their tits, and Hurricane holds the broom up like it's a dick. And Godfather comes in, chases off the Hurricane, and then he checks on the hoe's well-being. He even goes, "Ugh, I hate him
I don't know.
messing with my hose."
I found it funny.
Okay.
I don't know why I laughed, but him getting that boner depicted by the broomstick because the hoes were changing. Because the one hoe kept saying, "I think they're definitely too big," talking about her tits. They're too big. And then the broomstick starts to raise. And it was even like he twitched it up. He didn't just like straight raise it. He like twitched it up like it's a penis.
I don't know. I thought it was dumb.
I don't know why I laughed at it, to be honest, but it is.
I don't know
And
why
then
this.
the Godfather going back there, and there's that moment where he's jacking off the broomstick. I don't know.
I just don't know why this grown ass man is hiding from hoes and getting a boner.
Because
they're hoes. That's what they do.
Well, I can
like
understand the boner, but
if there's
him
anybody that
hiding.
you could just grab and fuck, it would be a hoe. So for you to just, I don't know, hide so you can get your little broom erection, that's stupid.
Well, yeah, I don't know why I laughed at it, but
yeah, whatever. Undertaker Flair had a video package, and Flair's the co-owner of the company somehow, and Taker wants to use a pipe on the Rock one night, and Flair comes out to use the pipe on Taker instead. So Taker wants a match with Flair, and Flair says no. So Taker says he's going to change Flair's mind. So Taker kills Arn Anderson and David Flair, and Flair's seen punching himself in the head, so you know it's serious. And Taker, he just punches himself in the head with like a retard. Taker and Flair brawl. Flair ends up decking a fan. The fan presses charges, and Flair gets arrested. The WWF ends up holding a meeting in which Vince says that he should be in control of the WWF since Flair's a competitor now. No mention of striking the fan, by the way. And Linda's there to ask Flair if he still intends to wrestle the Undertaker. Flair says, "You bet your ass I am." Linda says, "Then you leave us no choice but to grant full control of the WWF to Vince McMahon until after WrestleMania when we review these decisions." And Flair gets up and gets in McMahon's face and says he's settling it with Undertaker no matter the cost. McMahon later makes the match a no disqualification. And Taker tells Flair that he needs to pack a lunch for WrestleMania because he's going to whoop his ass. And again, no mention of the fan that Flair struck or his arrest.
Well, he got arrested.
I'm sorry.
And they said I think they said he didn't press charges.
Oh, okay. I thought the guys. All right, whatever.
I don't know.
I just know that they're like, "Oh, you're wrestling. That we gotta strip you of your power," even though you decked a fan. No mention of that in this fucking board meeting.
Well, we didn't get to see the whole thing, so maybe they did mention it.
Okay. So Flair versus The Undertaker. And true to his word, the match is set up as no disqualification by Vince McMahon. And so when it's all said and done, and we look back on his, now that we can look back on his career, this might be my favorite version of The Undertaker. The spooky dead man stuff was great, but I like seeing Taker sell moves and just be a wrestler. I like that he talks shit.
He got the advantage. He was like, "Now it's time to learn." Or
right now we're going to school.
yeah,
Or like there was a series of chops that Flair gave, and there was one chop that Taker just screamed his head off, and you wouldn't get that with the dead man.
yeah, that's true.
It was just great. So it started off as just a straight up fight. Flair hit the ring, and he actually just crawled to the Undertaker. Like, he was just so pissed off, and they basically just took turns beating the shit out of each other. I liked when Flair and Taker, or I like when Flair had Taker in the corner with the punches. Then he stops to woo. He's like, "Woo!" Then Taker just grabs him by the throat and does his punches. Taker hit a giant power slam and established that he's out to hurt Flair by pulling Flair up at a 2 count. And Flair is bleeding profusely by this point, of course. And the funny thing is, Taker has like this little shaving cut on his cheek. I mean, it's running. There's blood, but compared to Flair,
Yeah, they
Taker
kept
goes,
pointing it out.
yeah. Oh, it's the Crimson Mask.
Yeah, like King was like, "You're talking about Flair. What about the bravery the Undertaker has? Look at that cut. He's gonna need stitches."
Taker goes to do old school. I hate that we call that name, but he starts to say that Flair ain't nothing but a piece of shit, but stops short because Flair just arm drags him off the rope, which is great. Taker ends up trying to use a pipe, and he had hiding in his motorcycle, but Flair beats him to it and starts working over Taker with it. By this point, Taker is bleeding, and Flair also uses a keep off sign on Taker's skull. It's the same keep off sign that they used last year. And they fight back to the ring. Flair starts wailing on Taker. It looks like Taker's done for, but then he grabs Flair by the throat. Now it looks like Flair is done for. And Taker gives Flair a glare, and then Flair just kicks Undertaker straight in the dick. Flair gets Taker in the figure 4, and it's the loudest pop in the match. Loudest pop of the match. And it was great when, like, because the crowd, they just lose their shit when Flair gets the figure 4. And then they just start to kind of subside and just wait for the, what's going to happen. And as soon as it subsides, all you can hear is the Undertaker just screaming at the top of his lungs in pain. It was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize, like, he was doing that the entire time. So just imagine and then it just gets quiet, and you still hear the It's fucking awesome. So then Undertaker fights out of the figure 4 with a choke slam, and this is where it starts to get okay. I'm watching this match, right? And this is a fantastic match. This is probably my favorite Undertaker WrestleMania match to this point. And I'm watching this match. I'm like, this is a fucking classic. How the fuck are people not putting this on the same level as the Triple H ones or the Shawn Michaels one? But then Taker got out of the fucking figure 4 by just grabbing Flair's throat. And then Flair lets go. He does a choke slam. Flair kicks out of the choke slam. Taker, besides himself, starts beating the shit out of Flair and covers him again. Flair kicks out. And just like last year, Taker kicks the referee's ass because his opponent kicked out. And then Taker goes for the lead pipe from earlier. And then Flair fights off the Taker before he can use it, then shoots him into the ropes. And then in comes Arn Anderson with a spine buster. And just like in WCW, Arn Anderson's interference does dick because Taker kicked out and throws Flair out of the ring, and then he kills Anderson. And Taker gets Anderson in a dragon sleeper, and Flair comes in with a chair for the save. Taker just kicks Flair in the face after being pummeled with a chair for forever and getting a spine buster from Arn Anderson. And Taker just goes for a last ride. He got Flair up really awkwardly, and he just set him back down. And he tried to go for it again, and then Flair just flopped down. So Taker just shakes his head, smiles in the camera like this clusterfuck of a finish was all going according to the plan. And he tombstones Flair 1, 2, 3.
I like the little laugh he gave when he couldn't get Flair up in the last ride.
Yeah.
There's like that little chuckle he gave. Good on them for switching it because it wasn't happening. And even JR said on commentary, both men are just spent.
Right. So yeah, this is best Taker match so far. As far as WrestleMania goes, yeah, just the figure four. Just how he got out of the figure four. Flair's beating the shit out of him with a chair, and all he does is he just kicks him in the face. It's like I almost want to say Flair should have won because of all that shit that just happened.
He definitely should have won. Like, especially the spine buster spot and the chair. But we knew, and they're really heavy on the streak this time. He's 10-0.
Right.
So we knew he wasn't losing.
Well, for good measure, Taker decapitated the ref with a clothesline after his hand was raised, and yeah, Undertaker acknowledges that he's 10-0.
I did enjoy the match, though.
I did too, and
I didn't look too much into
it got goofy.
It
got really goofy. Well, it's just it was really bad when Flair is just beating the shit out of Taker with the chair, and then Taker just kicks Flair in the face, and it was all good from there. It's like, motherfucker, are you invincible?
Yeah, he shook it off.
So Michael Cole interviewed Booker T. I guess Edge stole a Japanese commercial from Booker, and has also been calling him stupid. So they decided to have a match. Also, to prove Edge wrong, he wore glasses and talked about how smart he was. I also think he mentioned beating Edge somewhere in all of the promo stuff that he did.
Yeah, he talked about the Einstein's theory of relatives was his thesis. And we got, I guess the positive parts of this is we got the 5-time thing.
Did we get the 5-time? Oh, yeah. He said 5-time, but he didn't do that. He didn't do it.
Oh, yeah, but this is the start of it.
Okay.
But I was thinking, this is what got me to that comparison of like Vince McMahon picking his people he wants to succeed from WCW. So Booker, he's getting the strap as opposed to, DDP earlier. So he's making a fool of DDP.
We have Booker T versus Edge. So it was really weird seeing Edge use Rob Zombie for his theme. Like Metalingus has been attached to him for so long that I forgot he even had another theme.
Yeah, I did too.
So this is a match. The Edge wasn't with an execution. There was a fucked up Frankensteiner where Booker basically did a front flip on the Edge from the top rope. And Booker did a spin-a-rooney. Ross claimed to have done one on his front porch. Edge did an awful spin-a-rooney after a spear. And Teddy Long was the referee.
I didn't notice that. But yeah, this was kind of just a nothing match. Now, when you start to, I was gonna say when you start to see, this pay per view was like 3.5 hours, maybe 4 hours.
3 hours 40 something minutes. Yeah.
So yeah, when you start to get that, and then you look at these segments, like maybe these are like parts we can cut out, and then we don't have a 3 hour show.
Well, what I'm digging is like some matches will be 3 minutes, some matches will be 6, and some will be 20, like the good matches. Seems like they're all 20 today.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to have a short match.
Well, that's a whole nother thing. People are complaining about the lengths of pay per views again. But now they're saying they're too short.
Okay. Hurricane's back. Coach asked Hurricane a question. Hurricane answered. Molly Holly knocked Hurricane out with a fucking frying pan and won the hardcore title.
Kind of sexist.
How's that?
A woman using a frying pan?
Oh.
It's like natural to her.
So there's a Stone Cold Scott Hall video package. Starts off with Vince growling, "I'm going to inject the WWF with a lethal dose of poison." So I guess the NWO fucked with Austin. Austin fucked with him back. Hall challenged Austin to a match. "I hear you're the toughest SOB. Prove it." So we get Scott Hall versus Stone Cold. Typical Stone Cold match. Nash also came out with Hall. So start off with Austin not caring if he has to fight off both of them. And Nash delivered the occasional cheap shot and exposed the turnbuckle. Pretty so-so until Austin hit a stunner. Nash ran around the ring to pull the ref out. Nash rolled around. God damn it. Nash ran around the ring, pulls out the ref, knocks him out. Then Nash goes berserk and just beats the shit out of Austin and tells Hall to grab a chair. Nash holds Hall for him. Austin ends up kicking Nash in the dick and hitting Hall, and he ends up stunning both of them. But there's no referee. So until this milquetoast motherfucker just comes sliding in the ring out of nowhere. He almost like slid on the other side, like slid in and out, which would have been fucking funny. So he starts counting the pin, and then Nash destroys him with an elbow drop. And Austin dumps Nash and Hall out of the ring. Then a group of referees come out, and Nash could have easily dismantled all of them, but he's led to ringside. And yeah, no more Nash. Austin and Hall fight some more. Hall does an ugly stunner to Austin, and the original ref comes crawling into the ring. For some reason, he has to crawl over Hall and Austin to do the count. So naturally, Austin kicks out, and then he wins with 2 stunners, then drinks a lot of beer after.
Yeah. Again, pretty good match. I was so when they were doing all the ref bumpage things, I was expecting for some reason Nick Patrick to come out as like one of the refs,
That would have been good.
but didn't happen. And turns out he was refing like the next match too, so he was just right there ready to go. But he didn't do it. But it was a overall an entertaining match. I liked it.
Just kind of there for me. Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting seeing Hall and Austin in the same ring because I don't know if they crossed paths when he was Razor and he was like the ringmaster or some shit.
I don't. I think it was after that. Like Hall was already out of WWE at that point.
Okay, but yeah, just kind of where they kind of left off to where they are at this point on their journeys.
Mm.
But yeah, Austin won. That's all you can hope for. Oh, and he's doing his what's by this point.
Yes, that was the other thing I needed to mention. The what chant is here, and to think that we're still dealing with that.
Yes, we are.
So it started back then, and I was like, did he think the this what chant thing would be such a part of wrestling forever when he started that?
I'm sure he's happy about it.
Yeah, for him it's good, but
Yeah,
not for us.
no. So they did a fan access package. Um, Michelle had nice tits. Some stupid girl fan cried when she saw the Undertaker. Stacy Keebler was thrilled that thousands of thirsty virgins get to touch and fondle her bronze replica legs and ass. And I no idea why that's even a thing for a wrestling event.
I kind of didn't watch that access thing because it went on way too long. But yes, the first I'll tell you where my mind was. That first fan with the tits. I was
Yeah, it
like,
was
I
Michelle.
wonder if I could. I wonder if I could find her on Instagram and what she looks like now. That's where my mind was. Did I search a little bit? Yeah, but I couldn't
There you
find
go.
anything.
All right. Well, the Dudleys versus APA versus the Hardy Boys versus Billy and Chuck for the tag team titles. And Saliva sang the Dudleys theme. They danced with Saliva. Keebler was there, not looking bad. Billy Gunn went to from the New Age Outlaws to Billy and fucking Chuck, so that was nice. APA got eliminated first via 3D, like right away. Hardy took his shirt off. The girl started screaming. Keebler got on the apron and tries to tempt Jeff with her succulent ass. She tries. Hold on. Keebler Keebler gets on the apron and tries to tempt Jeff with her sweet succulent ass. Then Hardy does a little dance, slaps Keebler on the ass, then kisses her, then shoves her violently to the floor.
You sure did.
And then the Hardys eliminated the Dudleys after a really long ass time. Obviously, it was to keep Keebler out there as long as possible, but like keep the Hardys in a position of strength or something. I don't know. But they were out there for a long time. And then Billy and Chuck won after Billy nails Jeff with one of the tag belts.
And it is worth to mention that they're using a song that will be rehashed later. That being Chuck and Billy and Chuck.
The
Which I
boy
didn't
band?
even remember this tag team.
Oh.
And then when I saw him, I was like, oh, yeah. I remember this
they're
abomination.
infamous. Yeah. They should have just shown Keebler doing stuff for 15 minutes. I think that would have been more fun to watch.
Fair enough.
Hall and Nash are backstage. They're pissed that Austin beat Hall. And Hall's like, he got lucky. Nash says that they're taking the loss out on The Rock later. Hogan, the leader of the poison that Vince injected into the WWF, slides in and says, I know y'all are angry and I get that, but I gotta go do this out on my own to prove that I am the man. NWO style. Because that's how it goes. Hogan leaves.
Prime NWO.
Right.
Doing things on your own.
Right. They never have strength in numbers, the NWO. Hogan leaves, and then Hall and Nash say that they're going to get involved anyway. So Molly Holly's running. Christian closes the door on her face, and Christian wins the hardcore title and runs off. And I got to be honest with you, I thought it was going to get a lot darker than that. Because especially the way he kneeled down and said, well. So we get yet another Hogan Rock video thing. And yeah, at this point, I'm like, I get it. It's supposed to be a big match.
Well, yes, they did the whole feud, or they recounted the whole feud. I do say though, I liked that every match on WrestleMania had like a story going into it.
Yeah.
And
for the most part, they do.
Well, especially now. Or I could say maybe just now they're doing the video package for everything. As opposed to, because when we were early WrestleManias, it was like, I guess they're feuding.
Well, they would do the promo.
Yeah,
like Mean G would say, "Oh, Macho Man, you must be really mad that the Repo Man fucked Miss Elizabeth right in front of you." Oh yeah, the Repo Man's gonna get it tonight here at WrestleMania 3.
Yeah, but now they got the video packages.
Yeah.
So I do like that. So this video package, and it's important for context because this video package shows like how dastardly Hogan was with the NWO injecting the poison. There was one point where Hall and Nash were holding the Rock's arms, and Hogan hits him in the back of the head with a hammer. And there's another point where he's, I guess it's a continuation of it, but they're taking the Rock to the ambulance because he just got hit in the back of the head with a hammer. And then Hogan drives a truck into the ambulance. So he was like so dastardly, Hogan was.
Good for him. For being dastardly, I don't know about necessarily injuring the Rock like that.
Well, it's context for what's about to happen. So he was doing everything he could to be the heel in this match.
Okay. Well, the match is Hollywood Hulk Hogan versus The Rock. And it starts off of course, with a lot of standing and just looking around and doing nothing, because both of these guys are the kings of that. And then they establish dominance where Hogan gets a surprising amount of offense pretty much throughout the whole match. Like, I feel like he's always the guy that's in peril and coming from behind, no matter whether or not he's the face or the heel. But here, he was just like the dominant force. And
True.
the fans went crazy for all of Hogan's antics, like the back scratch and the face bite in the corner. And Hogan teased putting the Rock through the announce desk, but the Rock stops Hogan and he tries to clobber him with a chair. Thankfully, the ref pulled the chair out from Rock's grasp. Then they get back in the ring, and Hogan sends Rock into the ref. Like, so stupid. Like, the Rock just charged at Hogan, and Hogan sidestepped him. So naturally, he goes into the referee. And why are the referees always in position that, I don't know. So they fight for a while. Rock gets Hogan in a sharpshooter, but there's no ref. Then Hogan crawls to the rope, but there's no ref. Then Rock drags Hogan back to the middle of the ring, and he taps out, but there's no ref. Rock, finally realizing this, tries to revive the ref in a very aggressive way. Then Hogan uses the distraction to hit Rock in the nuts and deliver a rock bottom. And I thought he was going to do like that visual pin thing where, like, while the ref was still out, he'd pin him and then just look confused and spread his arms out like he did. What WrestleMania was it? With Sid? Was it Sid? I don't know. He pinned somebody, and he's like, "Come on!" He's did 1, 2, 3 on the mat. Oh, come on! And he's fucking looking at the referee. He was the one that knocked out the referee, probably. Oh,
I
what's
remember what
going
you're
on?
talking about, but I don't
Yeah.
remember what Mania that was.
But no, I was wrong. The ref slowly crawls and he starts counting the pin, but it's only for 2. Then Hogan takes his weightlifting belt off and wears the Rock out with it. Rock hits Hogan with a DDT. Then he gets the weightlifting belt and beats the shit out of Hogan with it. And there's one little moment where the Rock holds, like, he starts wailing on Hogan, and then like he holds the belt up and then he spits on the Hollywood part on it and then whips Hogan one last time.
Mm-hmm.
He leveled up. And Rock hits a rock bottom, but it's only for 2. But Hogan starts hulking up. And this is weird because, like, normally he gets his ass beat for a while and it's like, oh, Hogan's done for. But this, like, Rock hit a desperation move, which was the rock bottom for the most part. Because, it's doing the, they did the weightlifting stuff, but I don't know. I just think that it's kind of out of nowhere. But anyway, so Hogan hulking up from here it's just a little bit different than him just getting his ass beat throughout the whole match, and you thinking he's like, oh no, there's no possible way that the almighty Hogan can defeat King Kong Bundy now, and then he starts hulking up. But Rock hit the rock bottom out of nowhere and starts doing it here, and Rock is beside himself. I'm sorry, I rambled. I kept waiting for me to get back to the point, but it never came. But anyway. Yeah, so he starts hulking up. And Rock knows he's fucked. After the shortest hulk up in history, Hogan hits the big boot and then a leg drop, but that's only for 2. And the crowd went insane the entire time, even when the Rock kicked out. It's not like that exasperated noise when the crowds make today when someone kicks out. Like they cheered that The Rock kicked out, even though they weren't cheering for The Rock necessarily. Because I felt like that was more of a pro Hogan crowd, right?
That was 100% a pro Hogan crowd.
But they still cheered when The Rock kicked out. Like they weren't upset. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I don't know, Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns. Sami Zayn hits the hell of a kick. Roman Reigns kicks out, and you hear ah.
Mm-hmm. I thought that's what I heard, but
okay,
or
may
not.
have.
I thought I heard the boos that he kicked out.
I mean there were some boos, but it wasn't like I don't know. It wasn't anything to write home to mom about. They even said that like there's some boos, but fuck them, they don't matter. And I thought it was funny how like the Rock Hogan of yesterday looks like Cody and Rock today, like body type wise. So I guess like when you're a wrestler, the older you get, the more jacked you get. You don't have anything more to do, or better to do than lift weights.
Yeah, I could see that.
So Hogan tries another big boot, goes for a second leg drop, but Rock moves out of the way. Rock hits 2 rock bottoms, does a kip up, then a people's elbow, 1, 2, 3. And yeah, crowd was insane. They actually made the match. Just they were up for. They were really excited for this. It would. I kind of want to go back to the Raws just to see the build up for this match because I want to see what I'm missing. Because just the idea of The Rock and Hulk Hogan on its face just doesn't seem exciting to me.
Well, I took this in the opposite direction. I enjoyed everything. Now, probably I'm biased because I'm a sports entertainer fan, so this was like the mecca of that.
Right.
I did have a question though, because if you're a fan, if you're a smart fan, a mark, if you will, use insider logo. I'm sorry, insider lingo. And the lingo I'm going to use right now is audible. Because as I said before, Hogan, he was doing everything he can to be such a dastardly heel, hitting him with a hammer, crashing into the into the ambulance thereafter. Like he's trying to be a heel. He's trying to get booed. And then he gets into the match and he's over as hell. Even so much so, like Jim Ross kept saying, "Oh yeah, these fans are just feeling nostalgic." And then he said there were even some points he was like, "It's a split crowd. There's some fans are chanting for Hogan, some are chanting for The Rock." No, it was heavy Hogan, and they were booing The Rock. Even like, towards the second half of the match, yeah, The Rock was getting booed, Hogan was getting cheered very clearly. So with all that said, should they have? Would you think they may have called an audible and had Hogan win this match?
If they were going to do another match.
Yeah.
If the plan was only for one match, then no, probably not. I mean, for the, I guess for the crowd, if you want to send the crowd home happy, because I would say at that time you probably wouldn't expect Hogan to win. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, you didn't expect Hogan to win because
Okay.
yeah, The Rock was like the up and comer, but I don't know. It was clear that with what they were trying to do, they did not want they wanted Hogan to be booed, and it was
Right.
clear that they had expected it. So I don't know.
Well, I
When they
think the
didn't get that, and it was such a fever pitch, Hogan. I don't know why they didn't like everything after the match. It would have made sense still if he had won.
maybe I think maybe the audible was that, like, instead of Hall and Nash coming out to help Hogan in the middle of the match, they came out to berate him. Well, yeah. So they come out, Hall and Nash, they berate Hogan for losing, and Hall's especially pissed off that Hogan shook hands with The Rock after, and he throws his toothpick in Hogan's face, and then they just beat the shit out of him. Then Hogan saves him, or Rock saves him, and then Hogan and Rock fight off the NWO. But I think that was the audible. I think instead of having Hall and Nash come out in the middle of the match, they had him come out at the end, so Hogan can turn into a baby face.
Yeah, which is crazy that they came up with that like on the fly.
Well, that's just my speculation, irresponsible speculation.
Yeah, um, I don't know. I just thought they could have done that, and then it all of it still makes sense. Like the posing at the end, Hall and Nash being like, you still do the handshake. Hall and Nash are still upset that he shook his hand.
Yeah, but
And
I don't
then it's
see
like, oh, you didn't need us. We'll show you
I don't see why they would be pissed off if he won, though.
for the handshake.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean
That's what
anything
they
if he
came out there
won.
complaining about. They
You
didn't
beat
complain that he lost. They complained that he shook his hand.
Hollywood, man. You're such a classy guy. You whooped his ass and shook his hand after, Chico.
But what did Hall come out there saying? What is this? You shaking his hand?
Well, yeah, he
Like he didn't say
lost.
you lost. He never said that though. He never
Well,
once
that's
said you
implied, though.
lost.
He came out because Hogan lost. If
No,
Hogan
they
would have
came out there
won,
because Hogan. Oh,
yeah, if
they were
Hogan
out
would
there
have
because
won, it would
Hogan
have
was
been a
over.
different story. It would have been all like, look at you. You're such a cunt. You shook his hand afterwards. You legend. You might as well fuck his wife, too, in front of him. But no, Hogan lost. So now it's like, oh, you lost, and then you want to fucking shake his hand on top of that? Fuck you, bitch.
Sportsmanship.
Yeah.
How dare you be a good sport?
Yeah, but yeah, it was a good match. I really wanted to hate it, too. It was one of those things that I went in actively just trying to hate because it's one of those matches that people have been hyped up so much. It's just like that movie that people say, oh, you got to watch this. It's so good. So awesome. You haven't seen this movie? What are you living under a rock? Ugh. You suck dicks for a living?
And then you have to pretend to like it because yeah, you don't want to not fit in.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what did you like about the movie? Tell me in grave detail. Well,
So they announced a Skydome attendance record, 68,237. So good deal. So Christian's leaving the arena in a taxi, and he's celebrating his new title. And Maven sneaks up from behind him with a schoolboy and pins him 1, 2, 3. Then Maven takes the belt and steals Christian's cab. Now remember, Maven started off this cavalcade of retardation as the hardcore title, or as the hardcore champion. So we're back to where we started. Nothing has changed. It's as if, yeah, they just wasted our time with all of this.
They did, but yes, they brought it back full circle, which is funny because, like, yeah, like you said, it's almost as if they could have saved all these. I forget. I lost count. Where were we at? 6, 7. These 7 segments of hardcore comedy or whatever you want to call it. They could have saved this, and this again ties into a 4-hour WrestleMania. Maybe you cut this shit out, and then you don't have a 4-hour WrestleMania. I would have also, if I'm picking, uh, the women's match, I would cut that out. The no, I guess you can't do that. The Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match, I would have cut that out for sure.
I
Didn't
would have
need to
cut
be
the
there.
women's match out. Kidding me? In fact, I tried to. I don't know why you brought it up. I want to edit.
Sorry.
I want to cut this part out.
Oh, we don't have to talk about it too far.
I skipped it.
Oh, good. Then I get to review it. You know how that's gonna go. So it was Lita, Trish, and Jazz. Uh, Triple threat match for the women's championship. And the gist of this is Jazz wins off of a top rope fisherman suplex to, I think it was Trish Stratus, doesn't matter. And the highlight of this match is there was a point where Lita almost took off her shirt, but didn't for some reason. Because she used to take her shirt off like Jeff Hardy to
She took her
to do
shirt
the
off last year, or yeah, last WrestleMania.
yeah takes her shirt off to do the moonsault. She started to do that, and then her shirt wasn't off. So much so I had to rewind it to figure out. Wait, I thought her shirt was supposed to be off. Uh, and to the point where the fans were starting to a chant of puppies, or we want puppies, I should say. And yeah, I don't know. This this match followed the Hogan and Rock match, so you can
Okay.
you can imagine that there was no emotion going into the match from the fans or from the people watching at home, myself included, because I was emotionally drained.
Glad we decided to go back for that match.
Yep.
Triple H versus Chris Jericho for the undisputed WWF title. So Drowning Pool sang Triple H's theme. This wasn't their. I probably thought about this performance like you did when they did Tearaway, because it was just it was there. Although Triple H's entrance itself was epic. My favorite part was when they cut to the band after they were done playing, and one of them was pointing at Triple H like, "I believe in you."
Mhm.
And
It's
Jericho
still
came.
not as good as the Dudley Boys entrance, mainly because of Stacy Keibler.
Well, of course. Jericho came out with the WCW and WWF titles, and Stephanie's with Jericho, so are her twins. And Triple H was invincible. So, okay, spoiler, I didn't really pay close attention to this match for time constraints. I think you said that you were just spent from the Hogan Rock match. So this was around the time when not Hogan, Triple H had his quad injury and he came back. So remember when they did the surgery thing and got to see the rehab and shit.
Yeah.
So I think this was around that time. This is also around the time when JR just made him sound like the most invincible motherfucker ever. His he was so tanned, he was like 2 shades away from being Ron Simmons. He being Triple H.
Yeah, he's definitely tanned.
Like, especially his back. He was jacked too. Jesus Christ. No wonder he tore his quad. He didn't give a shit about Stephanie. He allowed Jericho to spear her. He also pedigreed her. And they did a lion tamer spot on the announce desk because, of course, that's more devastating.
Of course.
And yeah, Jericho did a whole bunch of lion tamers, and I wouldn't say a whole bunch, but I think he did like 2 or 3. And Triple H was able to fight out or whatever, but one pedigree. Triple H won.
And your new undisputed champion.
And we are starting the time where Triple H is the invincible warrior.
The Triple H era.
Yeah.
Of wrestling.
Where he's the game and he's that damn good. Where you get like rumors of WWE sending like THQ memos of, well, we can't have Triple H in any position where he's vulnerable on your covers or in any of your artwork. And I think they separated from them because of something like that.
Mm. And then they had to go to what? 2K or 2K? And then you're talking about THQ, the video game makers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they go to 2K, and then their games never were the same again.
But that was WrestleMania X8.
Overall, had a pretty good time with this one.
It wasn't bad.
Like I said, there's some stuff that I could have done without the hardcore segments, the women's match, unfortunately.
Don't say unfortunately. The women's match, because it's useless.
I say unfortunately because I'm not saying I need to, I'm not like support women's wrestling or anything, but
well, when there's real women's wrestlers, like if it was Akira Hokuto or something, I get down with that. But where's fucking Trish Stratus, Lita, and the other one?
Jazz was the champion. Well, and I can also watch it with the volume off and get maximum experience.
Okay.
Hey, you want me to watch? That's what I gotta watch.
I don't want you to watch.
No, I'm saying,
it's also very hypocritical that you're like, I don't want to support women. I need my women's match on there. I need to bring it up and review it. I'll just watch it with the volume off. It's like masturbating.
There's no masturbate.
I like to form a circle with my thumb and index finger and lick the ring and just massage the tip.
It's just some women's stuff is enhanced with the volume off. Like anytime Liv Morgan's on TV, if you turn the volume off, it's perfect.
No, I can't look at her the same way after she spit with that dirty Dominic.
Well, that's the least she's done. She's already sucked him off a couple times.
That too. Probably has that never-ending stench of chalupa on
there. Yeah.
But yeah, this will be the last WrestleMania under the WWF moniker. So that was
good to know. And it's amazing we're still in. We haven't gone to HD yet, too. That's another thing.
this is also the start of the brand split as well, because they the after WrestleMania, Ric Flair and McMahon, you know, they're vying for power or whatever. They decide that like they can't coexist. So the only logical thing to do is to split SmackDown and Raw in their own separate brands. So it pits the entire WWF wrestler into two competing little groups. So
Good for them.
yeah. And yeah, Hogan turned face, obviously. And yeah, that was WrestleMania X8. And our next pay per view was it Slamboree 97. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina, North Kakalaki. Kakalaka. Ultima Dragons facing Lord Steven Regal. Medusa's facing Luna Vachon. Mortis and Glacier are facing each other again.
Is it a martial arts match? Might as well
We're
be.
going to have to find out. Jarrett is facing Dean Malenko for the U.S. title. And Ming and Chris Benoit are facing each other in a death match. And Mongo's facing oh yeah, this one's going to be a doozy. Mongo's wrestling Reggie White. And then the main event is Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, and Kevin Green versus Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Master Six.
Well, Flair did call for that last pay per view.
Oh, it's going to be a boring one.
Yeah, they can all be winners.
But yep, that is all I got.
Well, before we get out of here, as I usually say, let's talk about some news. First bit of news that I have is there's some contracts expiring. So we have Chad Gable. His contract apparently is set to expire. I think his is next week. If I recall. Becky Lynch. Now, latest on this, according to Fightful, her contract has expired, so she is now officially a free agent. And then the other name that people seem to be losing their mind for whatever reason over is Ricochet. Sorry, that's biased journalism. I don't want to. But yeah.
Well, we're not journalists.
We're not. But yeah, Ricochet is the last person. His is set to expire in the summer. So you got three big names, three big contracts, and they are all set to expire. I said it last week for Becky Lynch's part. I said it last week. Don't expect her, cut the shit. She's not going to AEW. If anything, she's just going to, I don't know, not do anything. Right? she's either going back to WWE or she's gonna not do anything and stay home. Maybe she's using this time to go through other ventures. She just released a book. I'm hearing that was pretty successful. I didn't read it, so maybe she's gonna I don't know, go to acting or something like that. Spend more time with her daughter, who's now going into grade school ish. maybe Seth is like, hey, I can, I'm the breadwinner, woman. You stay home and make me sandwiches, and you better have them heated up when I get home too. Oh, cut that out! Don't. You cut that part out.
Oh no, that's going in the front runs that. I'm putting that at the front so people hear it.
So they kill me in the comments.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be the first time.
They wouldn't. And then yeah, as far as like the other two, Chad Gable, clearly he'll be resigning. Just a matter of time. And then Ricochet, I don't care. Go to AEW, go to I don't know, underground wrestling, whatever you want to do. Uh, Coincidentally, though, Will Ospreay did some contract tampering with Ricochet.
Oh no.
Yeah, he did an interview and he said that Ricochet should come to AEW.
He should. You know what? That would be great. I think AEW could use a Ricochet. He'll fit right in.
He actually will because they flip flop over there. He'll be. Yeah, Will Ospreay was like, "Oh yeah, they just don't know how to utilize you because we're so much more than wrestling 3-minute matches on Twitter X because he is the speed champion, as I keep mentioning."
He's also Ricochet.
I guess Osprey though, because he talks about that. I guess he doesn't watch the Raw because
I know.
he's pretty constantly on Raw. To say, "Oh yeah, they just put you in 3-minute matches."
No,
Oh, you don't watch him on Raw.
Osprey probably heard about Lucha Underground and assumes that Ricochet, who was part of that, is good. That's all that is, I think.
Well, I think they've crossed paths before or something. But it's funny. There was a clip that circulated of Ricochet where he did like a double backflip into a splash.
Mm.
So 2 rotations on the backflip to land that splash or a moonsault. He landed a moonsault and he did 2 rotations. And I was like, "Oh, that's wrestling." Like I don't know. You think Stone Cold needed to do 2 backflips? Huh? You think Hulk Hogan, The Rock, when they did their match, did they do backflips?
No, didn't see a single one.
But I get it. There are different styles of wrestling. Some people like flip flop. Some people like story. So anyway, do you have any input on any? I guess the only one you'd probably care about is Chad Gable.
Oh yeah, I would cut Becky in a heartbeat. Fuck her. Ditto Ricochet. I don't see why you would even. I guess unless Gable is positioning himself to be taken more seriously in a different company, whether it be TNA or AEW. Like he's switching to serious Gable on in a losing effort to Sammy. So like he's putting Sammy out or putting Sammy over on the way out, but we're still seeing a new side of him. So when he goes somewhere else, the transition isn't as jarring. So I think it all just kind of. I don't see why you would let him go because he's awesome.
And he's one of the mainstays on TV right now.
Right.
I think he resigns. I don't
Oh,
know what they're doing with like letting these contracts expire or get so close to expiring. Like Drew McIntyre, what he signed like the week before his expired. Um, some people, uh, credited people, not like just some random comment. Some people think that apparently the management doesn't, because they fired the guy who was doing the contracts or something. I don't know. So they think that maybe this Fortune 500 company that is WWE doesn't keep track of when their talents contracts are expiring, so they're getting surprised by this information. They're also surprised that Piper Niven is, or I'm sorry, they're also surprised that they're going to Clash at the Castle in a couple weeks too, because
You know what? That I could be speaking of somebody who works in a large corporate fucking company, worthless one at that. But I could see there's one company buys out another company, so then the company that's doing the buying, they usually in the positions of power, they put their own guys in, and those people usually don't know shit, and it usually takes them a while to either put in their system or get acclimated to at least a functioning knowledge of the current system. So that that I can believe that somebody new just doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Outside looking in, it's pretty far fetched because we're like, oh, it's WWE. How could you not know Chad Gable? But if you're a UFC guy, you're fucking working with Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor. You don't know Chad Gable. You don't give a shit about Chad Gable.
yeah, I can see that. But yeah, I think they'll get it all fixed, and everybody will land where they need to land.
Yep.
But speaking of the contracts, there was also this little report that the average, I'm sorry, the minimum salary on the main roster is $350,000. So everyone you see on SmackDown and Raw at minimum, so like Roman Reigns isn't making this, but $350,000 is the minimum. Uh, so Apollo Crews is making $350,000 a year.
Is he officially on the main roster?
I guess. Didn't he get Ninja Tozawa? How about that? Tozawa, he's on the main roster.
Yeah. That's a crime
So he's getting $350,000 a year.
to just dance and
Yeah.
stand. He doesn't even dance anymore. He just stands and hunches.
He also has black hair now, so he doesn't even have his highlights. So,
Yeah, whatever.
but that's just a thing. It's like, whoa, that's a lot of money. And you got to be on the road forever. So there is that, but you can understand just thinking about that everyone you got is like $350,000. So you can understand why they let these contracts expire. you know, so don't when who was the last person that got released? Like they weren't really doing anything with them. Um,
Gable Stevenson or whatever.
Not him. Like someone from like a main roster talent. You hear them getting released. They're not really doing anything with them. Jinder Mahal, Veer, Sangha. Right? They weren't doing anything with them. They're just sitting at home.
Oh, they were wasting an opportunity with them. That's what they were doing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they're sitting at home. Now they're getting paid $350,000 to sit at home. So that's why you get budget cuts, or you get contracts that expire and then you just let them expire.
Yeah.
It's like the opportunity cost. If you're a business person, that doesn't make sense. Uh, so yeah, there's that. Check, and then our final story. Jordan Grace has appeared on WWE television again. Don't forget, it was again. Jordan Grace, for the many that probably don't know, Jordan Grace is the TNA Knockouts champion. So she shows up in NXT. And how it goes is Roxanne Perez, she's looking for a challenger for Battleground. And yeah, they said Jordan Grace was going to be the opponent. Also on that same show, and it is to note that Ethan Page, formerly with AEW, also debuted. So we got AEW's Ethan Page and Jordan Grace. Now, this set the wrestling world abuzz. The fact that Jordan Grace from TNA showed up in WWE, and people got to thinking that maybe there's a prohibited portal, is the name that's floating around. Kind of like the Forbidden Door, but it's the prohibited portal. Maybe it is happening. Even Drew McIntyre, he tweeted out like um, something about the door being open, and he tweeted out like himself holding the TNA title. So he's teasing that he's going to show up in TNA. But the wrestling world is a buzz on that. What say you?
I don't care. I'll be more interested when they bring somebody interesting, but just bringing a woman's champion, a knockout champion, that double entendre shit that Vince Russo established over there, um, doesn't excite me. Like when they bring in, I don't know, like that the dude with the headgear, and there's the baby Brock Lesnar. If they bring him over, I might be interested, but and they're doing it on NXT, so I'm never going to see it. Especially with that fucking creature.
I don't think the creature's there anymore.
It better not be.
Which creature are you talking about?
The
Actually, don't answer that. I'm just going to assume I know who you're talking about.
okay.
And um, yeah, not there anymore.
It's the one we talked about, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, not there anymore.
Oh, thank Christ!
Um, yeah, I don't know.
I thought that was a new wrestler.
No,
Okay.
it'll be interesting to see like if this becomes more of a thing. Um, as far as Battleground, maybe, just maybe, I'll be covering it live.
All right.
So
You're gonna watch it for Jordan Grace that sold you?
Yeah, big bum pump. Actually, I'm just because people are excited over it as well. I just follow the content. That's all.
Okay.
There was a good quote that I heard. It was a quote like, I don't know. It's not important. But anyway, that's gonna do it for the show, obviously. And if you agree with anything, let us know in the comments below. If you disagree with anything, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Follow us on all the social medias, like buttons and shares and all the buttons on whichever platform you're on. And is there anything else?
Just have a good night.
And until next time, top guys.